Fox Sports.
Welcome to Coors Light Fox College Football.
With a running back talking Heisman, a great coach who has rebuilt the program, and a brand new stadium on the way, optimism is high on the banks of the Brazos. Baylor starts its 64th and final season at Floyd Casey Stadium against FCS foe Wofford, right now on Fox College Football. It's a very hot night, but it is not dampening the enthusiasm of the Baylor Bear faithful. And one final freshman class gets to participate in that good old Baylor line at Floyd Casey Stadium in Waco, Texas, where we are tonight for Fox College Football. The Wofford Terriers take on the Baylor Bears. Thanks for joining us. I'm Mark Followell, and it's a great night to be in Waco, Texas, because they are very optimistic this year about the Baylor Bears. Why? Because they're coming off 25 wins in the last 3 seasons. That's the best 3-year run in the history of the program. The architect of it is Art Briles, and Art Briles' system produces great quarterbacks. My partner in the booth this year will be Brian Baldinger. And Baldy, when you talk about these quarterbacks for Art Briles, it's Kevin Cobb and Case Keenum in Houston. At Baylor, of course, RG3. Last year, Nick Florence. Next up in line, Junior Bryce Petty.
So nothing to it, right? I mean, look, Bryce Petty's been here for 4 years, Mark, and he's dreamed about this night for a long, long time. And tonight, he just needs to take a big breath. I mean, he is a big kid. He looks like a linebacker out there, but he's got a lot of help around him, Mark. He's got running backs and receivers and line. They're going to help him out tonight. Just allow the game to come to him tonight, and he'll be just fine.
The Wofford Terriers are from FCS. They're 5th in the preseason poll, but they are a good football team. J.C. Pearson is the 3rd member of our crew. Let's welcome him in to talk about the Terriers. J.C., I said this is a good football team, but the way they go about doing things, they're a throwback team, aren't they?
Yeah, they sure are, Mark, because they very rarely throw the football, and that's very odd in this day and age in college football. They call their offense the wing bone, and it is a true triple offense, and they feature the fullback, Donovan Johnson. This kid has run for over 1,700 yards in his career. They expect this young man to have a great year this year, but it's got to start tonight if Wofford's going to have any chance of beating Baylor.
The Baylor Bears take the field for their first game of the 2013 season. They're 4-1 in openers under Art Briles. They hit the field here at Floyd Casey Stadium, and we'll have the kickoff of Baylor and Wofford. Fox College Football is next. Fox College Football is brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer. By Academy Sports and Outdoors, right stuff, low price, every day. And by Ford F-Series, America's best-selling truck for 36 straight years. The opener of the 2013 season at Floyd Casey Stadium in Waco. On this final day of August, it feels every bit like it. 101 degrees for the 3rd straight year. The opener in Waco will be in triple digits. Humidity nearly 30%. Mike Ayers, he said yesterday at the walkthrough when they arrived here in Waco, he got it started. He said there's nothing going on out here, but we're baking right now, so let's get going.
Yeah. Art Briles used to it. This is the 21st day in Waco this summer where the temperatures have soared into the triple digits.
Casey Redfern for FCS Wofford will kick off, and Darius Jones is back deep to receive. He fields at the 1, has a seam, bursts through past the 25 and beyond the 30 before Josh Holt stops him on the kickoff. It's time for the Dr. Pepper starting offense for the Baylor Bears. Last year they averaged 44.5 points a game. Their offensive line includes Spencer Drango, who made 13 starts as a redshirt freshman last year at left tackle. Lake Seastruck at running back. The wide receivers include Tevin Reese, who comes back after catching nearly 1,000 yards worth of passes last year. And the quarterback from Midlothian, just southwest of Dallas, is Bryce Petty. He does have 11 games of experience, but he has not started. And he finds Tevin Reese. And Reese advancing up the sideline Runs for a first down after the catch. Just a skosh outside the 40-yard line before redshirt freshman Chris Armfield makes the stop.
And the Baylor Bears, they do not huddle up. They just come onto the field, they line up, and they play as fast as anyone in the country.
19.7 seconds between snaps last year. They throw to the right, and Antoine Goodley, who caught 17 balls last year, is able to break a tackle and advance the ball quickly into Wofford territory. He's finally forced it. They'll spot him around the 35-yard line of Wofford.
Well, look how wide they are. I mean, they use all of the field. And so they're the super spread option where you got to defend them horizontally and vertically.
And it is a fake handoff. No, they will hand off. It's Seastrunk off the right side. James Zotto brings him down. 3 plays, 3 first downs. The ball down to the Wofford 22-yard line on the run by Seastrunk.
Well, I'd say that any concerns about Bryce Petty making his first start at Baylor already have been quieted. You can see how quarterback-friendly the system is. Throw it to the sidelines and put it in the hands of a track team out there.
2 passes, 2 completions, and a second run for Lake Seastrunk at the Wofford 22. Short gain of 2 yards, and Baylor will be looking at a second down for the first time of the game as inside linebacker Kevin Thomas, a junior, makes the tackle for Wofford.
Wofford just made their first substitution in this game, just substituted a defensive lineman, trying to keep those big hogs up front as fresh as possible.
Petty hands again. Seastrunk to the corner. Breaks 1 tackle. Stumbles down the sideline. Baylor looking at 1st and goal.
Well, Seastrunk is a great story. I mean, the guy that was recruited to Oregon, didn't work out, came back, redshirted, got on the field in the second half of the season, as good a running back as there was in the country, and he's the perfect complement in this spread offense if he can just get off the field in time right now.
Baylor moving quickly. 4 plays on the drive, now 5 at the 8-yard line, a handoff inside, and a touchdown for Baylor. That was quick, marching right down the field. They score their first touchdown of the year. Glasgow Martin, who ran it in 15 times last season, does it here.
Well, I mean, they gave you everything. They gave you a spread option. They gave you inside dives. They spread you out. And really, Wofford right now, this is the worst thing that could have happened to them. To come in here on this hot night and have Baylor score their opening drive that quickly. Martin coming off a broken ankle in the spring. They're still working him back into shape, but his first touch is a touchdown.
Heard it in a pickup basketball game. Aaron Jones, senior kicker, 71 of 71 on extra points last year. He got a lot of work, and a minute and a half into the game, he's on the field to kick the extra point after this Glasgow Martin touchdown for Baylor. A very quick drive for Baylor. Not even 1 minute and 30 seconds off the clock, Baldy.
Well, Glasgow Martin straight up the middle, right behind the left guard, Cyril Richardson. But just like in the NFL, all touchdowns are reviewed in college. So right there, you see the left knee down, but the ball is clearly at least on the stripe, so it's a touchdown.
JC, that was a fast-moving Baylor offense. Less than 15 seconds between plays on that opening drive.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, guys. Wofford, they can understand this Baylor system. They can practice against it in practice, but you can't simulate game speed. And from down here on the field, it's like warp speed that Baylor's running in versus Wofford. Like Wofford is running in sand in that first drive. Those guys have got to settle down and just get lined up and try to play good football.
The one thing that they will hope that settles things down is their ball control offense. They are a predominantly run-based attack, averaging 59 rushes a game last year, 7 pass attempts.
They need first downs. They need to just hang on to the football.
The kick by Aaron Jones, he got all of it through the back of the end zone. There was no opportunity for a return for Will Gay. Here's the Dr. Pepper starting offense now for the Wofford Terriers. They're from the Southern Conference. They went 9-4 overall last season. Up front, their returning starters on the line are Ty Gregory, the left guard, a senior, and Jared Singleton, the center, a senior. Michael Harp is the tight end. When they do throw, Jeff Ashley was the leading pass catcher last year. And the 3 backs, Donovan Johnson, Cam Flowers, and Will Gay. And one of the great mysteries for Wofford right up until the first snap of the game is who will be the starting quarterback. It is James Lawson. a junior who threw 31 passes and ran it 49 times last year. He will turn and toss to the sideline on the run. Cam Flowers. Terrell Burt with a tackle. James Lawson threw for 233 yards last year, 20 out of 30.
And Mike Ayers, the head coach of Wofford, said that there was about a coat of paint difference between the three quarterbacks. We could see all three of them tonight. Michael Weimer, the sophomore, and even Evan Jacks, the redshirt freshman, depending on the situation.
Lawson is from Pickens, South Carolina. His quarterback coach was Sam Weish, and they will throw. Oh, and a big hit. A big hit on Will Irwin. Drilled by Ahmad Dixon.
Ahmad Dixon, the senior, right from Waco. I mean, he reads this quickly, and I tell you, I just laid out. Let you hear what it's like to be down there on the field. I don't know, they said you're not supposed to leave with the crown and the helmet. That's exactly what Dixon did.
He blasted Irwin after the catch. Irwin caught 7 passes last year. Wofford, though, does get a gain out of it. It's 3rd and 1. The keeper nets a first down for Lawson off the right side for 3 yards. It's time for the Dr. Pepper starting defense for the Baylor Bears. Wofford converts the first down against the Baylor defense. Up front on the line, they go with Terrence Lloyd and Chris McAllister, who combined for 10 sacks as defensive ends last year. Bryce Hager, the middle linebacker, was the leading tackler in the Big 12. Eddie Lackey had 4 interceptions. There's the secondary, including Ahmad Dixon, who had the big hit. And inside to the fullback, Donovan Johnson. Up the gut, and a nice run for the Baylor 37 to the 45.
Mark, Wofford is a triple option team. And the first option is the dive. And that's what Donovan Johnson does right here, right up the middle now. All right, that starts the triple option. All right, you give it the dive, his inside trap that time. This is a guy that took over for the leading rusher in the history of Wofford football, Eric Breitenstein, who ran for over 5,700 yards in the last 4 years. The fullback, Donovan Johnson, is the featured back in this triple option.
Donovan Johnson ran for nearly 500 yards last year as he runs up the gut again and reaches midfield for a 7-yard gain. And Wofford's second first down. And 2 years ago, Ryan, it was nearly 1,000 yards for Donovan Johnson, featuring in the backfield with Eric Breitenstein, 967.
The history of football, the best running backs have all been between about 5'8" and 5'11". From Walter Payton to Emmitt Smith all the way to Barry Sanders. And that's what the running backs of Wofford are.
On first down, just inside the 50, Donovan Johnson with a short gain of 2.
And I'll tell you what, guys, from down here, watch where the nose tackle's lined up, Baldy, because it seems like Wofford is running exactly in the opposite gap of where he's lined up, because that's that huge hole for that dive at the fullback that you were just talking about. So you see where the nose tackle's shaded. Watch for the dive opposite of where he's at.
All right. Straight 40 front right there with the tackles over the guards. Now they shift inside.
Down the left side, the pitch. Johnson turns the corner, and the third Wofford first down. Upended out of bounds at the 39 of Baylor by Dixon, who had the big hit earlier on the drive.
Well, we have a total contrast in styles here tonight, Mark. We have the hurry-up, fast-paced, electric tempo of Baylor, and they want to spread you out. And then you get Mike Ayers in this slow-down triple option. They look like an academy team.
Yes.
Like if you're watching the Naval Academy or Army or Air Force or Georgia Tech. This is the style that they prefer, and they believe in their system, and it's been incredibly successful for them.
Moving the sticks to the Baylor 39, James Lawson at quarterback. Inside handoff. The second run on this drive for Cam Flowers to the Baylor 35. And, Brian, they've had a long time to perfect that system because Mike Ayers has been at Wofford for 26 years. His offensive coordinator, Wade Lang, who went to school there, has been his offensive coordinator for 24 seasons.
And Mike said that, a long time ago, he went out to Air Force where one of his former players went there to become a coach. One of his coaches went out there, and they went out and they studied what Air Force was doing, and he liked it so much. He brought the system back here, and they've been to the playoffs a bunch, losing to North Dakota State last year to quarterfinals.
5th time in the last 6 years that Wofford went to the FCS playoffs. The first penalty tonight. Wofford last year, the 5th fewest penalty yards per game in FCS.
Number 75 of the offense. 5-yard penalty remains. Second down.
And Brian, 36 penalty yards a game last year, the 5th fewest for Wofford in FCS, although Mike Ayers told us this week that was 36 yards too many per game as Rick Lumiere makes the false start call.
Well, it's Ty Gregory. He's the senior. I mean, okay, this is a guy that they're leaning on for leadership and play. He was first team All-Southern Conference last year. He hates pre-snap penalties. It keeps him off schedule.
Second down, 12. Lawson in trouble out on the edge. Dixon again. Dixon has had a busy first drive defensively. Stops Lawson for a loss.
Well, they don't have anybody that can block Ahmad Dixon. And that time what they did was they really took the pitch away from Lawson. So he was forced to eat it, or in this case, keep it. And so that was why Dixon was able to come in and make that play, because he had no pitch option. Now that penalty and the negative play on there really puts Wofford at a disadvantage when they go 3rd and 12.
Ahmad Dixon from right here in Waco at Midway High School. 3rd down and long. They will pitch. A block on the edge. But Will Gay comes up shy of the first down at the 34 of Baylor. They love to go for it on 4th down, though, so I'm sure that they'll keep the offense on the field.
Well, here they come right at you, right into your living room right now. Here's the whole triple option. The final pitch on the outside to Gay. They took about 8 yards on that play, so now it sets up basically a 4th and 5, which is very manageable to their team. Watch them go to the wide side of the field here.
And also watch if they don't like what they see for a quick kick.
Yep.
This is something that is definitely in their arsenal. Lawson keeping, nothing doing. Eddie Lackey stops him for a loss. They turn it over on downs at the Baylor 35-yard line. It was a drive that chewed up 6 minutes, but it ends with a turnover on downs at the Baylor 35. The Bears lead at home 7-0. Wofford turns it over on downs. Baylor leads 7-0. J.C. Pearson is down on the sideline. J.C.
Hey, guys, watch where these safeties for Baylor are lining up. You guys mentioned Ahmad Dixon's name a couple of times. Had that big tackle for a loss on the quarterback. Those guys are playing about 8 yards deep so that they can help in the run. That's what they're talking about right now. The safeties have got to continue to show up to stop this Wofford run game.
Well, Ahmad Dixon just moved to safety this year. He was the nickel back over the last 2 years. It's his 27th start for Baylor, so a lot of experience, and they really put him at safety this year, JC, because he's such a good hitter, as we've already seen.
Started every game over the last 2 seasons. Was an honorable mention all Big 12 selection last year. Baylor and Wofford are playing, by the way, for the first time, although Baylor has played an FCS opponent at home for 12 straight years, winning them all. And throwing on first down the slant, down the middle of the field. A big gain for the tight end. Jared Monk rumbling down the field all the way to the Wofford 22.
He's uncovered. The safeties are both back, and they just didn't think the ball would go to the first slot receiver, and they just picked him clean. That was a good read by Petty.
Fake handoff. Reese on the left side stepped out of bounds after a short gain. 53 catches, 9 touchdowns for Tevin Reese, the senior last year. Those were the numbers for Bryce Petty last season, 7 out of 10.
He's been waiting a long time for this night, and it's probably going pretty much like he dreamed, except for that.
The batted down pass at the line of scrimmage by Travis Thomas, junior inside linebacker. First incompletion.
Yeah, look, anytime you can get a zero-gain play, that's right in the passing lane. And that's what you should do to these teams that throw all these bubble screens, is you should try to anticipate those. It's like, you know, it's like a block in volleyball. Just get in the passing lane. Take that play away.
And this will push Baylor back, a pre-snap penalty on what was to be their first third down snap of the game.
Looked like the right guard, Desmond Hilliard.
Baylor averaged 7 penalties a game last season for nearly 59 yards.
Prior to the snap, false start. Number 67 of the offense, 5-yard penalty remains. Third down.
That is Desmond Hilliard.
Well, it is Desmond Hilliard, you know, and so, I mean, look, he's just a little anxious. They had to do a real juggle act in the spring when Troy Baker went down. They had to move 3 positions to make up for the loss of a real valuable lineman.
Baker was slated to be the starting right tackle. There is hope, though, that he may be back before the end of the month, perhaps as early as the 3rd game of the season against Louisiana Monroe. Petty on 3rd down. Petty for the end zone. Goodley with the catch. Baylor another touchdown of 27 yards.
Well, Art Briles said that Goodley was the X factor in this receiving corps. 220 pounds, and really the corner of the play, playing zone, just got lost. He just didn't expand wide enough and deep enough. And Bryce Petty showed you a deep throw. I mean, we saw a streak down the middle of the field. We saw a deep corner. We're seeing every throw, and all Mike Ayers can do at this point is shake his head.
Aaron Jones makes it 14-0. Antoine Goodley caught 2 touchdown passes last season. He has his first of 2013. Petty, the strike from 27 yards out. Bryce Petty's first touchdown pass of the season. Baylor up 14-0. Baylor has held the ball for 2 minutes and 5 seconds tonight to score their 2 touchdowns. They lead Wofford 14-0 with 7 minutes left in the first quarter. The Sports and Highlights show that you've been waiting for is here. Fox Sports Live is Jay Onright, Dan O'Toole are joined by Donovan McNabb, Gary Payton, Andy Roddick, and Carissa Thompson to bring you everything you need to know about the world of sports. Fox Sports Live airs nightly on Fox Sports 1.
Let's take a look at the touchdown here, because here's Chris Armfield is the corner on this play. He's playing off in what we call cover 3. So his job is to be wider than the widest, deeper than the deepest. And really, Goodley just gets behind him, and he just loses them. But a lot of people lose these Baylor receivers because they just don't judge the speed and how fast they run. I mean, they recruit speed here. There's 4 Cadillacs at any time on the outside with this offense.
And remember that you've got inexperience on the Wofford defense at corner more than any other position. Another deep kickoff by Aaron Jones through the end zone. Chris Armfield is a redshirt freshman as we talk about that inexperience in the secondary.
Hey, guys, just like Baldy was saying, I mean, you can simulate this in practice, but they have nobody on that Wofford team that can run like these Baylor wide receivers. So you may understand the system and what they're trying to do, but lining up and playing it against it's completely different. You may be in the right position mentally, but if the guy's just physically more talented than you are, you're going to get beaten, and that's exactly what happened on the touchdown.
And, JC, it doesn't hurt that Bryce Petty has been spot on with the ball. I mean, he throws the ball. He throws a really good ball. It spins fast. He's got all the touch on it, whether he's got to put it on the line drive or float it like he did on the touchdown to Goodley.
After the touchback at the 25. Bouncing off the right, Donovan Johnson, a short run. Wofford did move the sticks. They got in trouble with the penalty on the last drive, Brian. That's what short-circuited.
Well, they have a schedule, and their schedule is let's get 3 to 4 yards every play. If we get that, we're playing our football. And so on that last drive, the reason why it stalled was they had a pre-snap penalty, and it backed them up 5 yards, and it really knocked them off schedule. I mean, they have to be flawless up here in order to execute the way they'd like against a really talented defense.
Right now, only one running back. Bobbled snap. Donovan Johnson eludes one tackle. Ultimately forced out after a 2-yard run. Joe Williams at corner along with Ahmad Dixon.
You know, one thing about this Wofford Terrier team, if you're a receiver here, you got to kind of question and maybe scratch your head why you want to come to a team that runs the ball 90% of the time. But when you're not catching it or running routes, you better be able to block. And so Will Irwin out there right now, I mean, his blocking is more valuable than any receiving.
Jeff Ashley as well, who did catch 17 passes last season. Not a down they want to be in, 3rd and 7. Play action, pressure, down he goes. Lawson is sacked. Several players get to him. Sam Hall was the first. A little bit of help from Chris McAllister as well.
Well, I thought they got good pressure initially from Blackshear up front. Hager came in addition. And so you're going to see really right now instant pressure. Now there's really no place to go. Blackshear was the first one there. He's trying to stay in the pocket. Baylor does a good job of just keeping him there. And once he takes his eyes off down the field, then it was just a matter of time.
Sam Hall has moved from safety into that bare nickelback position.
False start. Number 25 of the offense. 5-yard penalty remains. 4th down.
Second penalty for the Terriers will back them up a little bit on the punt.
Just in case people are wondering here, 14-0 with a little over 5 minutes to go in the first quarter. I mean, this team, Wofford, they don't get blown out. They went to South Carolina last year. It was 7-7 in the 4th quarter. They took Clemson 2 years ago in the opening game down at Clemson. Battled them tough for 4 quarters.
That was a 35-27 loss. Levi Norwood racing up. Fair catch right at midfield. Just over 10 minutes in. And Baylor has scored twice. A short run by Martin. Followed up with Antoine Goodley scoring the touchdown on the last drive. Baylor on top by 14.
Monster waves, once thought impossible to surf, until an ingenious idea changed everything. Tow-in surfing. Courageous thinking is the Mazda way. The Mazda 3 with Skyactiv technology delivers 40 highway MPG and uncompromised performance. This
Baylor averaged 44.5 points a game last season. Well on their way tonight with 14 in the first 10 minutes.
Well, I mean, they're electric right now, and so they've done it a lot of different ways. Glasgow Martin got it started in the opening drive, right up the middle, right behind the All-American Cyril Richardson. And then this throw by Bryce Petty, long throw to the deep corner for Antoine Goodwin for a touchdown. And so one of the highest scoring teams that you mentioned in the nation last year, one of the biggest yardage teams in the nation, almost 600 yards a game. I've seen this team run up over 100 plays in a game. I've seen them run over 700 yards in a game. I mean, really, the numbers just are a machine when this offense gets clicking, and they're clicking right now.
Back-to-back seasons, 4th in the nation in scoring, 2nd in the nation in total yardage, 4th in the nation in passing yardage, and those numbers have happened for 2 consecutive seasons. From midfield, Seastrunk, tough running after the first hit, gained 6 before being driven backwards.
Guys, I want to see what kind of adjustments this Wofford defense is going to make. Are they going to keep 2 safeties back? Because remember when we talked to Coach Ayers, he said they want to keep everything in front of them, line up, get set, and make the tackle. And right now, they're just not able to do that.
They make the tackle here. E.J. Spiller. Make it Mike McCrimmon. McCrimmon has started every game at linebacker. He's also a long jump guy, a triple jumper on the track and field squad. Mike McCrimmon stops Lake Seastrunk.
Well, one of the reasons why they stopped, they just had 1 safety back that time.
And a bullet pass on 3rd down and 5 is short of the first down. Ciano on the coverage. Corey Coleman did catch it.
Yeah, but Art's going for it on 4th down. I mean, they're lined up. Glasgow Martin in the backfield, a more powerful runner inside.
4th down and 2. Martin hit at the line, fights forward easily for the first down. Glasgow Martin has a touchdown run tonight and converts on 4th and 2.
Well, I mean, this is Art Briles' offense. I mean, he's very confident in what he's doing. Why wouldn't you? You're up 14-0. They haven't stopped you. Just keep it going.
At the Wofford 38, Petty finds Tevin Reese to the 20.
You know, this Bryce Petty is interesting. You know, he was originally recruited at Tennessee, but Philip Fulmer left, and Lane Kiffin came in, and he decided not to go there. Gray-shirted here.
Hands the ball off on 1st down to the Wofford 20. Gray-shirted, red-shirted, backup for 2 years.
You know, but he was going to Tennessee. Also going at that time was Taj Boyd, the senior at Clemson right now. They were both going there and backed out once Philip Fulmer decided not to stay at Tennessee.
Nearing 3 minutes left in the first quarter. A pass on 2nd down. At the sideline, caught by Goodley. Turns in. Bounces off 1 tackle. 1st and goal. He's out at the 8 of the Terriers.
Hey, just watching Bryce Petty throw the football. He lost the competition to Nick Florence last year. And when you watch him throw the ball, his arm is as strong as anybody you're going to see now. That ball gets to the outside in a hurry, and it spins.
Handoff. Seastrunk. He's in. Touchdown. The second 8-yard touchdown run for Baylor tonight. Martin had one. Seastrunk scores that one after running it in 7 times last season.
Well, these two backs, they call them thunder and lightning. They're exactly that. Martin and Seastrunk. Seastrunk is the lightning. Martin's the thunder. And really, both of them have scored already. They're going to get the ball in tandem all year long.
Aaron Jones, as noted earlier, perfect last year on extra points. 21-0 lead as we're just inside 3 minutes left in the first quarter. It was the passing that set them up here. Another catch by Antoine Goodley.
Yeah, and Goodley right now is just sitting on the outside, puts that foot in the ground. Now he's looking for extra yards, runs over, arm field there, and that sets up Lake Seastrunk for his first touchdown of the season. Great vision, good cut, and a guy that has pronounced himself a candidate for the Heisman throughout the offseason. And now he wants to go out there and back it up.
The production was there late last season. He ended up with 1,012 yards last year. But what he did over the final half of the season was very, very special. We're talking about 830 yards in the last 6 games, 637 in the last 4.
Well, it really started the night that they upset the #1 ranked team in the country, Kansas State, right here. And really, Baylor was a different team once Lake Seastrunk got into the backfield and really gave that offense that type of balance. And then, of course, they finished it off in the Holiday Bowl in San Diego against UCLA, and they ran them right out of the gym that night, winning 35-10 at the half before they just put them away.
49-26 was the final, capping the 8-5 season. And that ended the year for Baylor with a bowl victory in 2 straight seasons for just the 2nd time in school history.
You know, Mike Ayers said that of all the teams he's played, the high Division I level, he said this one scared him the most because of how explosive they are.
Offside, number 14 of the kicking team. The 5-yard penalty will be added to the end of the run. First down.
Wofford trailing as they take the field on offense, down to Baylor 21-0. Now, this is a Wofford club, as we told you earlier on. These guys defend and they run the football. That is their MO, and that's what they were hoping to carry them to a better showing than what we've seen so far tonight. Last year, 350 rushing yards a game, 2nd in FCS, fewest passing yards in FCS, and in FCS their scoring defense was the 7th best, allowing 16.6 a game.
Yeah, but they're not really going to change too much of what they're going to do. They change quarterbacks right now. In there is Michael Weimer, who's a much better runner than what Lawson is.
Donovan Johnson gains 3 on first down. Trevor Clemens Valdez in the middle wraps him up after the short run.
Well, there was a very close competition throughout the spring and the summer as to who's going to start at quarterback. But, you know, Wofford told us a couple of times that they weren't afraid to play any of 3 quarterbacks tonight. And Weimer's a bigger kid. He's 6'5", he's 220 pounds, and he's a much better runner than Lawson.
And here he will throw. It's batted down. It's intercepted. A run back for a touchdown for Chris McAllister. McAllister scores for Baylor on defense.
Well, the senior from Converse, Texas, got right in the passing lane. I talked about it before from when Wofford was defending Baylor. Get into that passing lane and take away the flat route. He was right in the middle, and then the athletic ability of McAllister to be able to not just block it, but then also catch it and then finish the play. I mean, that's a dream for a senior defensive end. And the biggest difference Art Briles said about this Baylor team this year is he's got a defense this year that he hasn't had in the past.
It's a defense that's kept Wofford off the board. It's a defense that provides points with Chris McAllister's batted into the air pass and then intercepts it to return it for a touchdown.
Down at the bottom right there, and just a good finish. But really, once he got the ball batted up in the air, it was just a matter of nobody else was around him. And really, the first pass of Michael Weimer's season is a pick 6
by a defensive end.
Yeah.
And McAllister, 25 yards on the return.
A great job, too, Baldy, of eyes by him. If you can't get to the quarterback as a defensive lineman, what are you taught? Get your hands up in the passing lane. Does a great job that time of seeing the ball thrown and getting his hands up in the passing lane and catches his own deflection. So just great awareness on that play.
And I think, JC, that they passed and they put Weimer in the game because they're down 21-0. I mean, they had to get out of their game plan. Normally 2nd and 5, this is a team that just wants to continue to run it. And I think right there, Mike Ayers would wish that they had run the ball on that 2nd down.
McAllister picking up this year where he left off last season. Remember, he had a great game, was the defensive MVP of the Holiday Bowl win against UCLA. 4 touchbacks on the kickoffs tonight for Aaron Jones. The story coming in was Baylor's offense, but let's look at what their defense has done.
Well, they've been all over the field. The hits, Ahmad Dixon on that one. And then the pitch outside here, they got nothing. Lawson's just stuffed. Then this throw, attempted throw by Lawson is a sack, and then the pick 6 by McAllister, the senior.
The happiest guy in the stadium is the defensive coordinator, Phil Bennett, for Baylor, the former head football coach at SMU. He was the defensive coordinator at Pitt most recently before joining Art Briles' staff.
He's got a long resume. Long resumes to stops.
The run for Michael Weimer to continue on his resume, Baldy. Texas A&M, LSU, TCU, Kansas State, Purdue, and Iowa State. He's been a defensive coordinator at all of those.
Oh, he knows the Big 12 really well. He's been up and down. But, look, he said one of the reasons, when he came here a couple years ago, and they were playing guys before they were ready because they had to. But guys like Ahmad Dixon right now and Bryce Hager, Joe Williams, these guys now have a lot of experience, 3 years of experience in his system.
They need 4 on 2nd down. Weimer in trouble. Oh, almost picked again. And again, almost by a D lineman. Bo Blackshear on the ground had hands on it.
Well, Bryce Hager came from his middle linebacker position as soon as Weimer broke the pocket. And he's going to get pressure on him and force him into this bad. Well, that's just a bad throw. Across the body, late in the middle of the field. Usually bad things happen when you do that. But that's what Bryce Hager has been doing for a while here in Waco.
Had 4 sacks last year. As noted earlier, led the Big 12 in tackles. 124 last season. Hager put on the pressure, and you saw Blackshear nearly had the pick. 3rd and 4. Pitch. Room on the sideline for Cam Flowers.
That's their offense. That's a reverse triple option. Faking the dive one way and then doing the reverse on it and coming out with the quarterback, halfback option, and he pitched it perfectly that time.
Octavius Hart was the pitch man. The sophomore ran for 116 yards last year.
A little easier to play defense out there when you're up 28-0 in the first quarter. And take some chances.
Quick turn and toss. A lot of room. Ray Smith picks up a 1st down just beyond midfield and into Bears territory at the 49.
Well, just the way in some offenses in this country, you got to know 8 receivers. When you watch Wofford play, you got to know 8 running backs. And they play a lot of them, and they rotate.
That was Ray Smith, number 22, Will Gay, Cam Flowers, Octavius Hart, Donovan Johnson, among the names that you'll hear at the running back position tonight, either halfback or fullback. Hart on a toss, stumbled, short gain, 1, maybe 2.
Wofford is right there in Spartanburg, South Carolina. And this is the only flight that they're going to take all year. Everybody else is in their region there in that Southern Conference.
Right.
So they took a charter flight into Waco, directly into Waco last night. I just think there might be just a little jet lag that's set in on that flight, the way this team has gotten off to a sluggish start.
And they will jump right into Southern Conference play next week against the Citadel. Inside handoff, Donovan Johnson. Gain 3. They will be looking at 3rd down and 6 when the 2nd quarter starts. It was everything that Baylor would have hoped for, everything that Wofford obviously was not hoping for. A 28-0 first quarter for Baylor, including the defensive touchdown by McAllister, 2 runs and a TD pass. You're watching Fox College Football. Fox College football is delivered by UPS. Let UPS put the power of logistics to work for you. And by Whataburger. Try one of Whataburger's all-time favorites, 24 hours a day. A 28-0 first quarter for Baylor. The second quarter starts at Floyd Casey Stadium, where Baylor has gone 16-3 over the last 3 seasons. 5-1 last year, 9 straight wins in non-conference games here at Floyd Casey.
And this is the last year they play in Floyd Casey Stadium. They've got a new one being built just down the road, right off of 35, the most trafficked road in America. They're excited about their new building. And it's that man, Art Briles, who has just completely energized this entire program. And they owe him all of the congratulations.
This is 3rd and 6. It's a pitch to Ray Smith, and Smith has the first down inside the Baylor 40 to the 38. Our Coors Light game summary. 28-0. Baylor leads. They scored touchdowns on their first 3 drives. Bryce Petty, 113 yards passing. They outgained Wofford 190-76.
Yeah, but you know, Wofford can't panic here. It's 28-0, but they gotta, this is their first game of the year. They gotta work on what their offense is, which is exactly this. Take their deep shots.
And you had the receiver go out of bounds, and the pass flowed out of bounds as well. Octavius Harden was the intended receiver, and Eddie Lackey, at linebacker, was back to go.
Look, there's not many times under the 26 years that Mike Ayers has been here where they've been down 28-0 to start the second quarter. I mean, it's new territory for them. So they're not a team that likes to throw it on first down, but you want to get back in the game, so you're going to try and take your shots when you can.
In the last 11 seasons, they've had a winning record in 10 years. 90-43. They've won 68% of their games in the last 11 seasons. There's a marker down here on 2nd and 10.
Prior to the snap, false start. Number 77 of the offense. Penalty will be 5 yards. Remains 2nd down.
See, that's a freshman, Anton Warby. I mean, they're a team that is really competing at the offensive line position at the right guard, right tackle spot. He's the big spot for him right now on the road at Baylor. And those pre-snap penalties just kill you on an offense that is so run-based.
A foreign exchange student from Sweden,
yes.
Anton Warby. He went to Lexington, Kentucky, and has now found his way to Wofford College in Spartanburg, South Carolina.
He's getting a lesson in geography.
2nd down. Weimer slipped on the drop back. The ball squirts out. Baylor is recovered. Wofford's 2nd turnover.
Get out of the way. Get out of the way. There's some excitement on this defense. I think the defense is saying, you know, everybody wants to talk about the offense, but what about us? Jamal Palmer, the backup defensive end, if there's such a thing as a backup player right now in this Baylor team. He's the one that beats the freshman from Sweden. They're hungry for that football.
Yes, they are.
Hager's fighting for it. Second takeaway for this Baylor defense tonight. Palmer, the sophomore out of McKinney, Texas, just north of Dallas. And they're going to rotate those guys and keep them as fresh as possible and get them as much experience as possible.
2 takeaways today. Last season, over the entire course, it was +2 in takeaways for Baylor. Petty on first down of the Wofford 48. As he goes down, it is an incomplete pass. He was able to get some sort of pass attempt.
It was a forward motion. I don't know if it was a pass attempt, but it was a forward motion. That's a good football player right there. We haven't mentioned his name. Alvin Ciano. He's this senior, and he's kind of like their do-everything guy. He's been quiet so far.
As a matter of fact, he's our Academy Sports and Outdoors right stuff player.
Well, they should be. I mean, he's the best linebacker in the Southern Conference. And when you watch him play, he looks like he belongs in the SEC.
On 2nd down, Levi Norwood, the catch from Bryce Petty. Norwood was hit at the 40, fighting for first down yardage. He's right around the mark.
That is a Wofford trait, though, getting 6-7 helmets to the ball. I mean, you know, effort is a non-negotiable asset to playing defense on this team.
3rd and 1, Seastrunk inside. Got away from Ciano into the secondary. to the Wofford 27-yard line. Saquon Stanley, the tackle.
He's powerful, Mark. He really is. He's a powerful player and a confident player. Got a lot of bounce in his step. You know, right down the road from Temple, Texas, playing in front of really a home crowd.
Has run for 53 yards tonight. Ball's out on this drop back for Petty on first down. And Wofford has recovered.
And there's Ciano. Ciano at the bottom coming up with the ball. We just talked about him. And there he is.
Tarek Odom knocked it out, but Alvin Ciano had one fumble recovery last year, and he has one here in the opener.
Yeah, there's Odom. Odom's a defense vet on this play right now, and he's just going to turn the corner. He actually beat Cyril Richardson, the left guard, on the play.
Just swatted it out.
Yeah, just poked it. And that's what you should do. You should get excited about that kind of a play. I like Odom, though. I mean, he's only 5'10", but he plays with great leverage. He gets underneath. That time he got underneath Richardson, beat him across his face.
Ciano recovered the fumble. Donovan Johnson runs for 4 yards on first down. And more on Ciano, who had the fumble recovery. This is a player who is on the watch list for the Buck Buchanan Award. That's the Defensive Player of the Year in FCS. And Alvin Ciano is all over the preseason picks for various awards in the Southern Conference and again nationally for the Buck Buchanan Award.
Well, they said he was, you know, just a rare recruit. They fell in love with their mother and father, both professionals, and you know, you got to be a student first at Wofford, athlete second, and he had those terrific board scores that they're looking for.
2nd and 6. Keeper. Weimer, first down to the 46 of the Terriers.
Hey, guys, I'll tell you what, it's amazing what one turnover would do for Wofford. I mean, prior to that last drive, they were all sitting over here down and dejected. They get that one turnover. Now everyone's fired up. They're hyped up. They're saying, we knew we could stop them. Let's go out and let's play our game. Amazing what one turnover can do for a team.
It's a momentum builder, JC, no doubt about it.
They forced 23 turnovers last year in 13 games. A big hit by Ahmad Dixon at the end of that 1-yard run for Flowers, Cam Flowers.
We seem to mention Ahmad Dixon a lot. He is an unbelievable player. First of all, he's an incredible specimen. But then he loves to play the game. And he's a senior. You know, he wants to go out. They felt like they were slighted in the preseason polls where they got 2 first-place votes in the Big 12 this year. And so they got a chip on their shoulder. They think they got a lot to prove here.
Loves to play, loves to talk about the game. We had a nice chat with him, Big 12 Media Day. Little Gay on the run. He was strung out to the sideline, but he cut it upfield. And this is a first down for Wofford. They moved the sticks inside the Baylor 45 to the 42.
He's tapping his helmet to take him out of the game to keep him fresh, but this is a patient run. He gets a lot of interference out there. You get the left tackle, Tony Goodwin, leading the way, you know, along with Cam Flowers. And he put that left foot in the ground, and then he found a running lane going towards the goal line, exactly what you should do.
8 first downs for Wofford. Their leading rusher is Donovan Johnson with 28 yards. Weimer will toss. Will Irwin on an end-around drop for a loss. Bryce Hager, a loss of a yard.
Well, Terrence Lloyd is the defensive end opposite of McAllister and stayed home. And so he wasn't fooled. That's what he's saying. Now you're not going to fool me. Here he is in a stand-up position. He's going to be upfield, and he's going to stay home on the play. All right? You know, a lot of guys up 28-0 will go chase and try to make the play, and then that's why you want to run the reverse. But he stayed home. He closed the back door. Good play.
Inside to Donovan Johnson on officially 2nd and 12. And Johnson finds no running room, bringing up 3rd and long. There was Terrence Lloyd again gumming up the works in the middle of the line.
Well, Lloyd was there along with Bo Blackshear. And really, they're excited about the depth that they have on the defensive line. We saw McAllister scored. We've talked about Lloyd. I haven't mentioned the 6'9" Oak Man, the oak tree that's out there now.
Transfer from Penn State. Yeah.
He's a specimen. I mean, he's 6'9" out there. He got a tall tree at right end.
He's the guy when you're on the road, Baldy, that you want coming off the bus first for intimidation factor.
No question.
Wofford has called a timeout here. They're facing 3rd down and 11 with 10:22 left in the first half. Baylor in front, 28-0.
Coors Light says don't get flagged for breaking the law. It's a cold, hard fact. 21 means 21. So keep yourself and your friends in the game.
Wofford looking at 3rd down and 11. 28-0 Baylor. 10:22 left in the second quarter. Last season, Baylor opponents converted 111 times on 3rd down, the most conversions in the country. But this is a long 3rd and 11. It's a fumble pitch that's recovered by Baylor.
It looked like it was a forward pass to me. It looked like the ball was going forward. It looked like the pitch relationship with the quarterback was way off.
As it stands right now, Bryce Hager is credited with a fumble recovery.
It's a fumble if it's behind, if it's going backwards. But watch this. Ball went way forward when he got hit. By definition, that should be a forward pass.
And it's off the backside
Unless it's
of
a
Will
fumble.
Gay.
Unless they rule it a fumble, which is a possibility.
The play is going to be reviewed with 10:15 remaining in the second quarter. The ruling on the field is a fumble by Wofford, recovered by Baylor's Bryce Hager.
No, it's not a fumble because he's pitching it forward. But I don't know. I mean, it's just nothing more than a shovel pass, really. The ball's the hand's going forward, the ball's going forward. You know, I mean, that's just like an incomplete, shovel pass would be an incomplete pass. Should be an incomplete pass, which would mean 4th down back where the spot was, the initial spot. So it should be a good review and it should be overturned.
Rather than Wofford committing their 3rd turnover, it will be 4th down and 11.
After further review, the ruling is the play is an incomplete pass. The ball will be placed back at the 43-yard line. It'll be 4th down and 11. The clock will start on the snap. Please reset the game clock to 10:19, 10:19.
Well, that's the right call. They got it right. And I don't think Art Briles is going to argue the point too much. Phil Bennett might, because that's what he does.
And it means it's only 2 turnovers so far tonight rather than 3.
Yeah, well, he'll talk to his group that they did the right thing, and right now he's going to tell he's got his defense out there. Watch the fake. Be careful. This is Red Fern. He does it all for him.
Place kicking off and punting. 40 yards a punt last season. Sure-handed Levi Norwood is back deep to receive. Red Fern angles it for the corner. Out at the 12 is the spot. 31 yards on the punt. Wofford nearly had a 3rd turnover. It was reviewed and overturned. They punt to Baylor. The Bears lead 28-0 at home.
Let's see how things are looking in the Georgia Dome. Alabama leads Virginia Tech 35-10 in the 4th. At this point, junior receiver Christian Jones returns this kickoff 94 yards. And get this, his other special teams touchdown was a 72-yarder. Bama rolling. Back to you in Waco, Mark.
Thanks, Aaron. Here in Waco, Baylor leads Wofford 28-0. 10-12 left in the second quarter. Low snap and the shotgun to Petty. Picks it up and runs. Does a nice job of making something out of nothing, and then a late hit by redshirt freshman defensive end Hunter Thurley. Hit him out of bounds.
Just a little too aggressive, and sometimes when the play is broken like that, you're just trying to finish it.
With the late hit out of bounds against the defense. The penalty would be 15 yards from where the play ended. 1st down.
Well, Bryce Petty, he's got to be able to pick up that ball. But one thing about this guy, I said he looks like a linebacker, and you got to take a hit a little bit better than that. But he is sturdy, so that kind of hit's not going to bother Bryce Petty. He'll take the 15 yards.
After he had run for 8 yards. Seastrunk finds a seam into the secondary for a 1st down. Over the Wofford, over the Baylor 45, that is. 11 yards to the 46 as we check the Mattress Firm All Access Update. Bryce Petty, 8 of 9, 125 yards, a touchdown pass.
Go back in the backfield, 5 wide receivers this time.
Antoine Goodley caught the touchdown pass from Petty earlier. He catches this pass and is into Wofford territory. An ankle tackle by James Zotto takes him down inside the Wofford 40. 16 yards.
Powerful guy. I mean, 220 pounds. He breaks a lot of tackles.
At the 38. Jordan Niver, the intended receiver, pass incomplete.
Tell you what, they've gone to this 5 receiver package, guys, and the ball is coming out real quick, but the defensive backs of Wofford are giving them room. Their concern right now, and what they're talking about is don't give up anything over the top, so they're giving up all the underneath stuff.
And here's another underneath pass. Jay Lee, his first catch. And then they bring him down after a short gain, only 3 yards. Chris Armfield.
Well, that was a great play by Armfield because he beat the block of the wide receiver first, and then after that, he made the open field tackle. If he doesn't make that tackle, it may be another Baylor touchdown.
At the Wofford 35, they're in field goal range. Last year against Oklahoma, Aaron Jones had a 58-yard field goal. Right now at the Terriers 35. Baylor on 3rd and 7. They converted 46% last season. Inside handoff, they'll convert here. Seastrunk was hit at the 30, but fights forward to the 26 of Wofford.
Hey, look at the left guard. Cyril Richardson sealing the backside here. He is a mammoth man, can move and change the line of scrimmage. Makes everybody around him, Huber and Drango, better.
Another low snap to Petty. He'll run on first down inside the 25. Cyril Richardson, we were speaking of a moment ago, 68, the left guard, is our Academy Sports and Outdoors right stuff player. He has a great chance ball to get being a first-round pick next spring.
I think so. I mean, they've had a couple of them. You know, Jason Smith was a first-round pick of St. Louis 5 years ago, and Danny Watkins 3 years ago in Philadelphia, first-round pick. He could be the next in the line.
Glasgow Martin inside from the Wofford 24. Gains 5.
You know, Richardson's interesting. You know, he was from New Orleans. And when Hurricane Katrina hit in 2006, his family uprooted, moved to Fort Worth, where he went to high school, and then recruited here.
He's 6'5", 335. And he, among others, plow the road for Glasgow Martin. Off the left side of the Wofford 15. Alvin Ciano tackles, but this is Wofford-like football with just this grinded-out running game here.
But that's also Richardson-like football. I mean, that's what he loves. Just pound it inside right over him with double-team blocks.
9 plays on the drive.
There it is.
Martin, again, powering forward. Inside the 10.
Hey, guys, the other thing about keeping those 2 safeties back in that shell is you only have 7 guys in the box. And Baylor, they're a lot more balanced than people think. They think they're all pass. They love fun, and they're just going to continue to pound.
And they run again on 2nd down. The numbers last year, to follow up on JC's point, in games last season, 46 rushes on average, 37 pass attempts last year for Baylor.
Well, it almost seems like in this series, they're just working on the inside run game. I mean, they just brought an extra offensive lineman in the field. Whenever you see Jordan Niver out there, he's a great blocker at tight end.
Third down and 3, Wofford.
Called by the defense. This is their 2nd time out of the half.
6:48 remaining 2nd quarter. Wofford has 1 timeout remaining. Baylor leads at 28-0. When we return, we'll take you to our Fox College football studio for a look at what's coming up at halftime.
Action in the Big 12. Tony Banks will join me at the half. Back to you guys in Waco.
Thanks, Aaron. 4 minutes and 12 seconds for Baylor's first 3 scoring drives tonight. They also had a defensive score.
Yeah.
This drive is at 3 minutes and 24 seconds and 11 plays under their belt. 3rd down 3. The inside handoff, and Wofford stuffs it.
And it looks like Art Briles is going to kick the field goal, as he should. Some sportsmanship here.
No gain for Glasgow Martin on 3rd and 3.
No, I mean, that's a tough guy to stop in the middle. I mean, he ran the first time it touched the ball right up the middle, similar part of the field for a touchdown. His first carry of the season. So Art Briles not happy with the way that drive ended, but Aaron Jones gets a chance for a field goal right now.
Last year made 16, missed 11. For 25 yards out of the hold of Brody Trahan.
The kick is good.
With 6:04 remaining in the 2nd quarter. Your new score is Baylor 31, Wofford nothing. A 13-play drive ends with a 25-yard field goal for Aaron Jones. Mark Followill, Brian Baldinger, J.C. Pearson at Floyd Casey Stadium in Waco. 31-0 Baylor leads. Here's tonight's Coors Light Cold Hard Facts. Wofford College in Spartanburg, South Carolina, established in 1854 with an enrollment of 1,600, second smallest school in FCS. Only Presbyterian College in Clinton, South Carolina is smaller. The average SAT score, I know you can appreciate this as a man from Duke.
Yes.
1247.
It's pretty high. It's pretty high. And really, none of this would be possible at Wofford without the generosity of Jerry Richardson, the owner of the Carolina Panthers, and a Wofford graduate, and a great supporter. The Richardson building really supports all the football operations there and the home of the Carolina Panthers in the summer.
Really vital in terms of the move from Division II to then 1AA, now FCS. A touchback on the Aaron Jones kickoff. JC.
I'll tell you what, guys, this Wofford defense has played much better in the second quarter. I think in that first quarter, it took them a while to get adjusted to the speed and tempo of that Baylor offense. And here on the Wofford sideline, all they talked about was just calm down, settle down, don't get discouraged, and then make the play and the tackle when you have the opportunity. They've done a much better job of that this second quarter.
Well, you're right, JC. I mean, they got the takeaway on the fumble out of Petty's hands, and then they held Baylor to a field goal in the last drive. And so, well, they gave up 21 first quarter points. Of course, one of the touchdowns for Baylor was an interception return for a touchdown. They've only given up a field goal since.
5 yards tacked on for offside on Baylor on the kickoff. Now Evan Jacks, the third quarterback of the night, and a pitch to Will Gay flies over his head and out of bounds.
See, for Wofford, they call that a pass. I mean, it's a run technically because it is a pitch from Jacks. He gets exactly what he wants with Gay. Gets him in the right position here on the outside. He brings the defense to him just like a point guard. And he made the pitch just a little bit behind him, but you would expect that. I mean, Evan Jacks, that's the first play of the game for him, so he's trying to figure out game speed in the middle of the second quarter.
Redshirt freshman from Johns Creek, Georgia. A run for Evan Jacks, and you could hear it. He was crunched after a gain of 3.
Guys, remember Coach Ayers telling us that Evans Jacks is the most talented of all 3 quarterbacks. He just has no experience. They don't know how he's going to react in a game situation. He gets his opportunity now, but on the first play, it's a bad pitch right out of the gate. He's got to settle down, make all the right checks and all the right reads because he's got more ability than the other 2 guys.
He ran for 3 yards.
There's the other 2, James Lawson along with Michael Weimer. We've seen both of them in the first 20 minutes of the game.
5 minutes left in the first half, 3rd and 7. A toss and knifing into the backfield to stop Ray Smith. That was the oak tree. Sean Oakman, the big man, the transfer from Penn State, finally getting his chance to play here at Baylor.
Well, he just has the wingspan of a condor. And I mean, here he is on the outside. He's just going to see this pitch right away. He's playing it. And so, I mean, he's just out there in space. Nobody blocks him. Of course, they're optioning off him. But he covers so much ground. I've played with a guy, 6'9", 270 pounds with the Dallas Cowboys, Too Tall Jones.
Yes,
and
sir.
Physically, that's probably what Too Tall looked like when he was playing his college days at Tennessee State.
Levi Norwood is back. Marker down.
Prior to the snap, false start. Number 25 of the offense. 5-yard penalty remains. 4th down.
The Baylor basketball team, the men's basketball team last year won the NIT.
Yeah.
Sean Oakman is 6'9", 270. Surely there would be a place for him there, right?
Well, he played basketball growing up in Philadelphia, Lansdowne, Pennsylvania. So you would think that I know he could probably dunk. I know he's got a dunk.
He's got that part covered.
Yeah.
29 yards, the average on the first 2 punts for Casey Redfern. Levi Norwood will get a chance to return here. He averaged just over 10 yards per return last season and has a 9-yard return there with 3:49 left in the first half. Introducing Crowd Goes Wild with Regis Philbin and a cast of former athletes and journalists that will talk about things you won't hear on other shows. Sports talk just got a lot more colorful. Crowd Goes Wild weekdays at 5 Eastern Time on Fox Sports 1.
Regis never retires. I mean, he just shows up at a different place. He entertained all of us out in Los Angeles at our Fox seminar last month.
The Energizer Bunny just keeps on going and going. Incomplete pass. Goodley, the intended receiver. Bryce Petty missed him out on the right sideline at 1st and 10 from Baylor's 41.
That's probably the only bad pass that Bryce Petty has thrown tonight. Bounced that one up off the turf and just kind of rushed it.
10 for 13. 11 for 14. Goodley. They do link up this time, and Goodley bounced off 2 defenders and rumbles out of bounds for a first down in Wofford territory. He absorbed the hit of Josh Grimes and Sequan Stanley and kept on moving.
You know, this receiving corps of Baylor, I mean, they lost Terrence Williams in the 2nd round to the Dallas Cowboys last year. They had Kendall Wright, drafted by Tennessee in the 1st round the year before. I mean, they just keep turning him out. Here they are in stacked formations on the outside.
And Petty at the Wofford 45 with a lot of time. Intercepted back at the 20. It hit James Zotto right in the hands, but just couldn't pull it in.
Wow, he was the best defensive back in the Southern Conference 2 years ago, and Petty tried to throw it through him, and those gloves just weren't sticky enough. I guess it hit him in a bad spot, but he'd love to have that ball back because that was a bad throw by Petty, and it should have been an interception by Zotto, and one that they really could have used at this point.
2nd down. Seastrunk stays in to block after the play fake, and a bullet. Reese caught it, spun off a tackle, driven out at the Wofford 23. Kevin Thomas.
Kevin Reese, who played with Lake Seastrunk at Temple, you could see just ran the corner all the way off. They're so worried about his speed. He runs a stop like that, he's wide open.
Seastrunk with a hand up. Big hole. Cuts inside. He will score. Lake Seastrunk. The touchdown of 23 yards.
You imagine what that high school team was like? Kevin Reese and Lake Seastrunk in the same team.
Just down the road in Temple.
Yeah, that must have been some Friday night lights in Temple when those two were there. Seastrunk is a guy that he just runs away from defenders. His flat-out speed and then his vision with it. He's special. He's averaging over 8 yards a carry tonight, and that's what he averaged the last 6 games of the season last year.
10 carries, 96 yards, 2 touchdowns. The stat line tonight for Lake Seastrunk. Aaron Jones hits the extra point. Seastrunk coming at you on the touchdown run. 38-0. Baylor leads. In 10 of 13 games last season, Baylor scored 40 or more.
Everybody gets a hug from Seastrunk when he scores.
They have 38 tonight after Seastrunk's 2nd touchdown run a moment ago.
Yeah, Mark, anybody's wondering at home what Baylor is capable of scoring. I mean, they scored 63 against West Virginia last year in a loss. Yeah. Remember that 70-63 game when Geno Smith, threw something like 9 touchdown passes in that game. I mean, this is... I don't know that he needs to stay loose, by riding that bike. Maybe just getting some salts in him right now, some water in him, keeping himself hydrated.
Again, 10 times last year, they scored 40 or more, and they're knocking on the door right now of that with 2:52 left in the first half of 38-0.
Well, let's take a look at Lake Seastrunk because he's been everything advertised. There's the speed to bounce outside, beat the pursuit. Here he is right up the middle, okay, for his first touchdown of the night. And then here's this play, cutting it off backside. You can see just his ability to cut in traffic. And then this finish here for the touchdown, 2nd of the evening.
9.6 yards a carry, 2 touchdowns. Evan Jacks is still the quarterback. He gives to Donovan Johnson for a 4-yard gain to the 29.
Seastrunk gives, I think, this offense of Baylor just a real swagger. I mean, his confidence and what he can do. I mean, to go out there and say, I want, RG3, God bless him, he won the Heisman. I want to win the Heisman too. And even even Art Briles said about Bryce Petty, I think he could break all the passing records here at Baylor. I mean, they put it on their players to go out there and high expectations.
2nd and 7. Inside again to Donovan Johnson. He gains about 4 to the 32. The quote at Big 12 Media Day was, I think a reasonable expectation for Bryce is to break every Baylor record there is offensively. That's what I want him to do, and that's what he plans to do. And I asked him about it this week, and he said, well, I would say that about any player. I wouldn't put them out on the field if I didn't have the confidence in them to go out and perform at a very high level.
And they play with that confidence. The type of confidence that Art instills with them, that's how they play.
3rd and 3. No room for Evan Jacks.
There's
Sean Oakman, yeah.
He's not fooled by any of this triple option.
Long arm of Sean Oakman wrapped around Evan Jackson, wrestled him down.
I think this kid's got a great future. I really do. I mean, he's going to fill out even more. He's going to get more muscle, more weight. But he's got great athletic ability. And that type of size, of wingspan, I look for him to put him over at left end, where he's really in the passing lane of most right-handed quarterbacks. He could really discourage a lot of throws with tall oak trees in the middle of the line like that.
Baylor a timeout. 1:37 remaining in the first half, with the Baylor Bears up 38-0. We were speaking earlier about Lake Seastrunk and his confidence and putting out there that he is a Heisman Trophy candidate, thinks he will win it. This is what he did last year to boost that confidence. Last 4 games, top rushers in the nation. Lake Seastrunk led the way over Monty Ball and Eddie Lacy with 637 yards, 9 yards a pop.
And look at the companies with him. Monty Ball right now with the Denver Broncos, and Eddie Lacy, you know, with the Green Bay Packers. I mean, that's the type of player that he's going to be at the next level.
Heavy rush. Redfern got it away on 4th and 5, the punt. Inside the 30, backpedaling. Levi Norwood. Spinning. Down he goes.
Good coverage. They went after it, didn't they?
And they got close. Let's see.
I tell you, Redfern, this is good poise by him because I think he could feel it. A couple fingertips away. Little acting job at the end to maybe get a 5-yard penalty.
Which would have put them right at what they needed for a first down.
Well, I mean, that's what veteran punters try to do, try to draw that penalty.
And Redfern has been punting the entire time. He moved into more of a place-kicking role last year, but he started punting immediately as a freshman. Redfern, the senior, who punts and kicks. Bryce Petty whips it to the sideline. Darius Jones. We've seen him in the kick return game, and now he catches a pass for 4.
I'll tell you, when you watch Bryce Petty throw that ball to the sidelines, it is a dart. I mean, it gets there in a hurry.
Officially 5 to Darius Jones.
Here's another one. Look at that. That's pretty. That's a
nice
clinic.
spiral, but then fumbled away. James Zotto recovers.
Yep. After
a catch was made by Jay Lee along the sideline.
Remember, Zotto had dropped a potential interception in the last series, but here he gets the recovery. Jay Lee gets the ball stripped out of his hands. This is a nice play by Bernard Williams, putting his helmet right on the ball.
Sure did.
And look at, when you get to the ball, there's C&O there. When you get to the ball, good things happen. Josh Holt's there, and here comes Zotto from the free safety position. A nice play by Wofford, hustling after the ball and stopping Baylor again.
Now what can they do with the turnover with 56 seconds remaining in the half? Hager, pressure, Jacks, throws. Out of the Baylor 40. Down goes Jeff Ashley. The ball came out, but they ruled it down. Jeff Ashley did catch it. Joe Williams almost forced a fumble.
That was the best throw of the night by any quarterback for Wofford. And you could see the talent of Evan Jackson, why they're excited about his potential. They would like to get this reviewed to see if that ball did come out.
It's at the 36. They've seen the replay here, and they don't like it in Waco.
Yep. Nobody likes it. Good protection.
Scrambling, Evan Jacks. Out of bounds to stop the clock. right at the first down marker, maybe just a little bit shy. Here's the prior play.
Yeah, here it is. There's Joe Williams. That ball's out.
Yeah.
That's a clear fumble by Joe Williams. That's a great job of stripping. Maybe he never had possession, and that's what they saw. But the ball clearly came out.
Evan Jacks scrambled for 9. Play fake, 2nd and 1. He got out of bounds to stop the clock, but now he has to eat it at the 30. A loss of 3, and the clock will run. Wofford has 1 timeout. They'll take it. Sacked by Chris McAllister. Terrence Lloyd was there as well. Remember, McAllister had the pick 6 earlier. 38-0 the lead for Baylor. Coming up on Fox College Football Halftime, presented by Arby's. Aaron Hardigan and Tony Banks are in the studio. Johnny Manziel, the Heisman Trophy winner, back in action with a bang in the second half today as Texas A&M hosted Rice. And rolling tide, #1 Alabama. We heard the game break update earlier, 35-10 lead over Virginia Tech in the second half.
Mark, I mean, an hour and a half away in College Station today. I mean, I was so excited watching Johnny Manziel take the field because his first play was a Johnny football scramble for a first down. The 3 touchdowns, hitting receivers in stride. He looked like he was just having so much fun out there, and all of the noise that he generated throughout this offseason, and there was plenty of it. It seemed like it was just. He never paid attention. He wasn't affected by it at all.
And I think, look, you and JC can both speak to this. Anytime there's a lot of noise around you as a competitor, your sanctuary is the football field, the basketball court, the baseball diamond, whatever the case is.
Yeah, and that's what the case is.
Yeah, you know, Baldy, I agree with you. Manziel's a great talent, but he's got to learn to control his emotions. He got a couple of penalties there, one for taunting, or both of them actually, I think, were for taunting, and you can't have those. Those are going to come back to hurt you in big games. He's got to really control himself.
Wofford is out of timeouts, 3rd and 4. They complete the pass from the Baylor 30, spinning inside the 20. Will Irwin, he's caught a couple of passes. He's also run once today as well. Bryce Hager made the stop.
I tell you, for Evan Jacks, first time playing football, he looks like he knows what he's doing here.
Clock is running, 20 seconds. Incomplete. Jeff Ashley. 16 seconds remaining in the first half. The prior play, when Joe Williams stripped it out, the ball went out of bounds.
He didn't have possession of it.
Which is why it wasn't reviewed.
And that's why we saw that on the replay. Good job by Tom Yohe and his cameraman here tonight.
On top of it, as we would expect, of course. At the 19. 2nd and 10. In trouble. They're out of timeouts. At the 24-yard line, they get buried.
And that's the mistake by Evan Jacks, because I don't know that he can get, or maybe he can get one play off and he can't get, no. Couldn't get everybody back. This will be the end of the half. It'll be a 10-second runoff.
10-second runoff now.
Yep. That was a mistake by Jacks, not throwing that ball away under pressure. This is an offensive penalty.
False start, number 82 of the offense. The foul also requires a 10-second subtraction from the game clock. It is halftime.
Wofford had a drive at the end of the half, but it ends on a disappointing note. Baylor's quick strike offense was the story of the opening quarter. They also added a defensive touchdown. A Lake Seastrunk touchdown and a field goal were tacked on in the second quarter. 28 points in the first quarter for Baylor, 10 in the second. Halftime in Waco. The score, Baylor 38, Wofford nothing. When we return, Aaron Hardigan and Tony Banks are in our studio for Fox College Football Halftime, presented by Arby's. Baylor was definitely ready to rock to start the 2013 season tonight in their opener at Floyd Casey Stadium. They lead Wofford 38-0. It's Fox College football with Brian Baldinger. I'm Mark Followill. We'll check in with J.C. Pearson in a moment. But, Brian, let's talk about that first half. It was all Baylor wanted.
Well, I mean, I'd say all phases are clicking, but they haven't punted yet. So they haven't had a chance to do that. But, yeah, I mean, they came out and they struck fast. Bryce Petty was on, and we wanted to see what he was going to be like in his first start at quarterback here for Baylor, and he was everything as advertised. I mean, he's decisive. He throws darts to the outside, turning them. They stretch the field vertically. They stretch it horizontally, and they got playmakers everywhere. And so Bryce Petty right now got the keys to this very expensive sports car, and I thought he played very well in that first half. And then Lake Seastrunk at tailback right now, a guy that said that he wanted to win the Heisman. He had a pretty good first half, averaging almost 10 yards a carry. And so for Lake Seastrunk, 2 touchdown runs in that first half. Really a finishing runner. Finishes his runs very, very well. I mean, that's what it's all about.
You see the first half highlights now. Our Mitsubishi halftime stats.
Well, I mean, you look at Baylor. I mean, it's over 350 yards of offense. You could see almost 9 yards of play right now. I think they'd like to have those 2 takeaways back for the offense to see what they can do. And so right now, I mean, the stats all in the favor of Baylor. And so right now, I think when you look at this game, and what I'm curious about here, J.C. Pearson, is that me and Mark up in the booth, we've been impressed by how quickly they get in and out of the huddle, and then how quickly they can strike. What's it like down in the field? How fast and explosive are they?
Hey, Baldy, I'll tell you what, if there's a team in America that has more overall speed than Baylor, I'd like to see them. I'll tell you that. Because you look at these wide receivers, Norwood, Tevin Reese, all of these guys, and then now you got Seastrunk in the backfield. They have weapons all over the place. I'll tell you what, man, as a former defensive back, I feel bad for these Wofford defensive backs because the tempo that Baylor plays with, they just come at you and they don't stop, and it's tough for these guys in the secondary.
You know, JC, I was doing some math at halftime up here, and I calculated that Baylor ran a play every 16 seconds. So as a defensive back in your days, JC, you get a play coming at you every 16 seconds with that speed. That's got to lead to some mistakes when you talk about defense right now for Wofford.
Absolutely, and that's why they're making so many mistakes. It's especially tough on those safeties, Baldy, because now they got to play pass because all of that speed outside. But then when they play pass, well, now all of a sudden you got Seastrunk coming at you, making you miss, or you got Glasgow Martin coming down with power, and then guess what? Well, I'm going to play run this time, and now that speed goes right by you. So very tough on those safeties for Wofford.
Great math, by the way, by Brian Baldinger. Although Bob Thomas, our statistician, he's weeping over here that you said you did the math.
Yeah, well, I had 20 minutes to figure it out.
Aaron Jones has been fantastic on kickoffs tonight. And another one sails through the end zone. Wofford with the touchback from the 25. What will happen here in this second half for Wofford?
Here's the thing. They've got an entire season in front of them. So they can't worry about the first half. They got to go out and execute no matter what the final score is. You come here to Baylor because you want to shock the world. Well, that's not going to happen tonight. But now you got to come out and execute. And really, what they do the second half of the season could be the launching point for what they do the rest of the season. And what they want to be is they want to be in the FCS playoff system at the end of the season. That's what Mike Ayers is all about, getting to the playoffs.
They were in the FCS playoffs last year for the 5th time in the last 6 seasons. They went 9-4 overall. They beat New Hampshire in the first round of the playoffs, lost in the quarterfinals.
Timeout. Call ball Wofford College. This is the first of the half.
They lost to North Dakota State in the quarterfinals. And the first play of the third quarter before it is even snapped, a timeout called by Wofford.
But I want to go back to something you just said, though, Mark, because North Dakota State went to Little Manhattan. They went to the Little Apple, and they upset Kansas State last night.
24-21.
24. They went 80 yards in the final minutes of the game to win that game. And really, that was a heck of a statement to go into a team that was the reigning Big 12 champs, a Fiesta Bowl contestant a year ago, and get knocked off by North Dakota State. And, you know, this Wofford team lost the playoffs to them last year 14-7. It was nip and tuck all the way.
They went to the semifinals of the FCS playoffs in 2003. And over this run of 5 of the last 6 years of the playoffs, they've had 3 quarterfinal appearances, including last year. And after a timeout, then a false start to open the
Prior
third
to the
quarter.
snap, false starts. Number 60 of the offense. 5-yard penalty remains. First down.
Right tackle Bradley Way.
Yeah, and look, I mean, this is second of the night right now, and he's just a redshirt freshman. And, you know, there's some nerves and some jitters. That you kind of expect that with young guys in a big atmosphere like this. Can't really hear the play with the crowd out there. Mike's got to settle his guys down.
1st and 15. Lawson pitches. Will Gay. Bryce Hager hits him after a short game. I know that Mike Ayers, JC, you talked to him at the end of the first half.
Yeah, I did. And you know, I said, Mike, what's going on? You guys are down big at half. And he said they're just not playing Wofford football. Too many mental mistakes, too many penalties. And those 2 things aren't Wofford football. Those guys are real disciplined guys over there. He said, hey, the second half, they can either come out and they can fight and play hard, or they can quit. And it's a good character test for these guys early in the year.
2nd down, 13. Swing pass. Donovan Johnson from James Lawson. Mike Ayers, by the way, is, as there's a marker down here. You saw on the graphic.
5 of the offense. 10-yard penalty remains. Second down.
Ouch. You saw on the graphic, 7th winningest active FCS coach, 5th longest tenure of any FCS coach with their current school. Bob Ford at Albany has the longest tenure of anyone in FCS right now.
Yeah, 26 years. That tells you a lot of things.
Correction on the holding. The foul will be declined. It will be 3rd down.
Well, what it says when you're 26 years in one spot in college football, A, you've been successful, B, you like your job, and C, you like where you're at. And, you know, I mean, he probably had plenty of opportunities to move on, but nothing better than dealing with kids who have an average SAT score of 1,250. You know, that makes you sleep a little easier at night.
Inside handoff, big hole on 3rd down. The run for Donovan Johnson. Johnson to the sideline, and they will convert on 3rd down and 13. A run all the way out to midfield.
Well, Donovan Johnson caught him in a blitz right now. I mean, Baylor's going after him, and it's just the right play. Just their dive play right now, and the blitz was coming to the other side because they were anticipating pass. So they were going to the backside shoulder of Lawson, the quarterback, on the play, and they called the perfect play against it.
And that perfect play nets 27 yards. Lawson down to the line of scrimmage on the keeper. Was turned to the turf by Bryce Hager.
Well, that was 27-yard gain, was the biggest gain of the night for Wofford. And they get a lot of explosive plays out of the running game. I mean, they just had a back that just graduated, Eric Breitenstein, and he ran for over 2,000 yards last year in that 9-4 season.
Still didn't lead FCS, by the way. He was 2nd.
Yeah. Three wide receivers at the bottom for Wofford. You don't get that formation very often.
And Johnny Martin is the safety valve out in the left flat. Caught it out of bounds to the Baylor 45. Eddie Lackey forced him out. 3rd and 5 coming up.
Well, 38-0 makes you throw the football a little bit more than you want to. And so right now, Lawson getting an opportunity to do that. They only threw 31 passes a year ago, the entire season, as a backup quarterback.
They've thrown 9 passes tonight. Wofford has. They averaged 7 a game last year. Their high in a game last season was 15 pass attempts. Pitch out. Johnny Martin, another run. And Martin scoots to the sideline. Don't think he got the best spot in the world, but it still might be enough for a 1st down.
You know, you mentioned the 9 passes tonight. Well, if you're not catching passes the way Jeff Ashley is, you got to block. And so the blocking on the outside here, watch the position. Parisa right here. You get the left tackle down here. Now here's Ashley. I mean, perfect position right now against the defensive backs, and it allows Martin to get that 1st down.
Martin caught a pass, then ran for the 1st. They fake it to him. Airing it out. They look for Ashley, and Ashley juggles, and he almost made the catch at the goal line. Whoa. Joe Williams on the coverage.
That was some effort by Ashley at 6'3", went up and over the defensive back here. Joe Williams. goes up and over him, keeps it alive, and then just can't quite get to it. And Williams is in perfect position. I mean, between the ball and the man the whole time, and that's why, and then the strip at the end, that's a heck of a play by Joe Williams.
Remember that it was Williams who had the strip on that play late in the first half on Wofford's last drive that ended on the penalty. Johnny Martin, big hole off the left side, downfield blocking, first down run. Martin is out after a gain of 15. K.J. Morton forced him out.
And this is what you love from the Wofford Terriers right now. Not hanging her head, coming out there and attacking Baylor. All right, a couple big runs. Mike Ayers, give him a little fist. He deserved that one. I like that.
Phil Bennett, the defensive coordinator for Baylor.
Phil Bennett said that he predicted that North Dakota State upset in Manhattan, Kansas last night after watching them against Wofford a year ago.
Keeping, Lawson turns it in at the 20. Gain of 6.
James Lawson on the keeper. Tripped up by
I tell you what, guys, great job on this drive by Wofford, mixing up the plays. Easy throws for the quarterback. Now, he didn't throw the ball as well on that go route. They had Joe Williams beat. They underthrew it, but doing a good job of mixing up the passes down the field as well as the inside runs, and now we finally see the quarterback keep. So good job on this opening drive by Wofford.
Lawson's thrown for 24 yards tonight. This drive started after a touchback, and remember that they were moved backwards 5 yards. The third quarter got off to a start of a timeout call before the first snap and then a false start on the first snap.
You know, Mark, you asked Phil Bennett a great question, though, during the week, and you said, you know, if we were playing Wofford in the middle of the season and we only had 3 days to get ready for this offense, we'd be in a world of trouble. But the fact that we had the whole offseason to kind of gear up, and he watched all 13 games a year ago in Wofford to get ready, it's helping him.
Donovan Johnson on 3rd and 2 takes the handoff, has a first down, spinning inside the 15 to the 10. First and goal, perhaps coming up for Wofford with 10:44 left in the third.
I like Donovan Johnson. I really do. I mean, he's 5'8", 195 pounds, built low to the ground, but he's got a little Zuzu in him. He can make people miss, and then he's got some speed, more speed than the kid that just left as the all-time leading rusher for Wofford, Eric
Breitenstein.
Yeah.
You were still thinking about Zuzu.
Yeah, well, I just had to get that out of my mouth.
Not much Zuzu for Johnson there. To the 8.
Then that's the right use of that word right there. That's good.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, use a Zuzu in a sentence, and you did it. And that's what you'd have to do at Wofford in order to get admitted.
That's part of the verbal portion of the SAT.
You got to spell it. You got to use it in a sentence. You got to put it in a paragraph. The whole thing.
A mammoth defensive tackle. True freshman Andrew Billings made the stop on the last play. Lawson keeping on the option on 2nd down and goal at the 8 to the 7. Bryce Hager, Terrell Burt.
I played with Bryce Hager's dad when I was with the Philadelphia Eagles, and this kid led the Big 12 in tackles a year ago. Reminds me of his dad. His dad was a great special team player in the NFL for a long time. Raised some good kids down there in Austin, Texas. And Bryce, I think he's going to become a better player than what his dad was.
Dad, Britt Hager, Odessa Permian High School, University of Texas. And the Eagles, 3rd and goal of the 7. Inside, plowing to the 5. That's it for Johnson. No, Johnny Martin.
Yeah.
And there is Andrew Billings. I said he is a mammoth defensive tackle, a true freshman who broke the Texas State powerlifting record by, I know you'll appreciate this, you did this at one point in time, Baldy.
Yeah.
The numbers were 500 on the bench, 805 on the squat, 705 on the deadlift.
Let me tell you something. If I tried 705 on a deadlift right now, you would have to carry me home, all right, in an ambulance.
I could get you back to Dallas. Short field goal attempt here for Casey Redfern. 22 yards. And it's on the money to put Wofford on the board for the first time. 8:38 remaining in the third quarter. Mike Ayers liked what he saw on that drive out of Johnny Martin, among others. Baylor leads 38-3. Wofford just got on the board with a short field goal. Baylor leads 38-3 in the third quarter. Let's take a look at our Geico playbook.
Well, take a look here on the big play by Donovan Johnson on the last drive. Watch all 3 linebackers come here of Baylor, and they all get picked up, and that's what Donovan Johnson gashed him for the biggest run of the night. 14 carries right now, over 70 yards. And that really, that was a 3rd and long. And they got that first down. That really kept them on schedule. But great job by Johnson of the vision of cutting on the backside of his right tackle on that play, Way, who really got it going.
HEB scoring drive, 15 plays, 69 yards, 6:22 chewed up. Casey Redfern, 22-yard field goal. On that Geico playbook, that was a 3rd and 12 they converted with a long run. Darius Jones runs up the field, a seam to the 20, down to the 26.
Their special teams are good. There's Ciano at the bottom of that pile as well. He just stays right on the field and plays defense. Covers the kicks, plays the defense, special teams. I think he's a pretty special player.
Officially spotted at the 25. Alvin Ciano, 2 picks last year, 14 tackles for loss, 7 sacks. Has recovered a fumble tonight. Bryce Petty, the shotgun. Blake Seastrom sweeping to the edge. First down, strong run. Speed and strength both on display. Blake Seastrom for 15 yards.
I don't think he can take himself out because he lost his shoe. Lost his shoe, so you got to go put the shoe on. I think that might be the only thing that can slow him down, is if he loses a shoe.
11 carries for 111 and 2 touchdowns. Shock Linwood is in, redshirt freshman.
How about that?
They had hoped to get him around 8 to 10 carries tonight, and Linwood with his first carry.
His nickname is the Shock Attack, named after Shaquille O'Neal.
Yes, indeed. Incomplete pass on second down.
Yeah, that's kind of a rare pass by Bryce Petty, one that kind of died going to the sidelines. We've seen him just throw footballs tonight about 3 yards off the ground and a frozen rope out to the outside. Receivers are talented. They do a lot of good things. They catch the ball very, very well.
Marker down, 14 of 19 is the line tonight for Petty, as he throws and Darius Jones turns it out to the sideline. But again, Marker is down.
Looks like he's been in control the whole night. I mean, just poised. It's a good warm-up game for him, or it was a good game, period. First time out of the box.
Offside by being in the neutral zone at the snap. Number 90 of the defense. The penalty would be 5 yards from the previous spot. We'll replay. 3rd down.
Think about this, Mark. I mean, for Bryce Petty, this is his first start since high school, 2008.
At Midlothian.
Yeah, I mean, that's, and that's a lifetime. 5 years ago since his last start.
To Linwood on 3rd and short for the first down. Over the 45 of Wofford to the 44.
Well, this spread offense, I mean, they spread it out to run the ball. I mean, they're trying to widen these holes right now. All right, you're gonna cheat your safeties to the outside. They're gonna pound you inside with this running attack.
Now Petty, deep down the right side, got a man in the end zone. It is caught. Baylor, another touchdown. Petty with a strike, deep to Tevin Reese.
This is straight speed, and it kills. I don't care what your defense is. Tevin Reese has another gear when the ball's in the air, and Bryce Petty cut that ball loose into Mike Harris. I mean, he's shaking his head, but I don't know that he's seen an offense that can strike fear in your defense quite like this one.
They do break the 40-point plateau, which they did 10 times last season. Tevin Reese, 97 yards receiving, 44 on that touchdown grab from Bryce Petty. Watch him fly, Tevin Reese. Streaking to the end zone. A beauty of a pass by Bryce Petty. It puts Baylor in front 45-3. Fox College Football is brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer. This is a computer animation of the new Baylor Stadium. It will be open for next season, a capacity of 45,000, expandable to 55,000, at a cost of $260 million. designed by the Kansas City-based architecture firm Populous. That's what it looks like, or will look like eventually. Here is what it looks like now. It is quite a sight when you drive down I-35 and see it, and our fine crew with some footage shot this morning.
Well, it's amazing because you're coming down 35, and it looks like it's right in the middle of the highway. It's so close to the highway. And you just don't get new stadiums built on college campuses these days. They've gotten it done, and really, it's the fire that Art Briles has brought to this program, the recruiting. He had a T-shirt on yesterday that says, what do you say? I never stop working.
No days off.
No days off. No days off.
Yes.
Was his T-shirt. And you know what? You get a stadium built like that, you don't have any days off.
Aaron Jones kickoff. And another boomer.
Mark, there's no defense for the speed that Baylor's receivers have. I want to show you the free safety here. That's James Zotto. And watch how helpless he is to try and stop this throw from Bryce Petty. Because this is the speed. Now, freeze it here. And watch this. I mean, this speed outruns all coverage in this coverage. And just about anybody's coverage. As Petty put that ball about 10 yards in front of Reese, and somehow he's able to lay out and get to it with another gear. Those fans behind Wofford, they were borrowed and rented here when they got into town.
Michael Weimer is in at quarterback. Oh, he gets drilled. Got some help with a stiff arm, but then hammered by K.J. Morton.
Well, they've got a senior dominant secondary, and they've been outstanding tonight. They kind of remind me of the Legion of Doom in Seattle, the way that they come up and hit, and the confidence and swagger that they play with, creating their own Legion of Doom.
K.J. Morton unloading on Michael Weimer after a 2-yard gain. Play fake. Nearly intercepted on a floating ball intended for Wade Francis out of the sideline.
Hey, Baldy, you're talking about Tevin Reese and all the speed on this offense, but pay attention to the speed on this Baylor defense, too. They've got guys that absolutely fly to the ball, especially when it's pitched outside. These guys have a lot of speed on defense, not only at the linebacker position, but also the defensive back position. And those guys, that allows this defense to play the way that they're playing right now.
Wofford 7 of 12 tonight on third downs at 7 of 13. Blasted out of bounds. Eddie Lackey on the hit.
There's an example. And, you know, the Big 12 has really a bad reputation for playing no defense in this conference. And I think that may change this year with TCU. The defense they're bringing back and the experience, Jason Verrett, some of the guys they're bringing back, Devontae Fields. You're looking at this defense and the experience that they're bringing back. The Big 12 may change that reputation this year.
Oklahoma State won today in Houston over Mississippi State, 21-3.
Wow.
Redfern's punt. Fair catch by Levi Norwood. Just inside the Baylor 35. Bryce Petty's first start, the fourth-year junior. 2 touchdowns, 246 yards through the air. Baylor up by 42. 45-3, Baylor leads Wofford here at Floyd Casey Stadium in Waco. 5:57 remaining in the third quarter. From America's #1 pregame show comes the all-new Fox Football Daily, featuring an all-star lineup of experts and NFL legends. Get everything you love on Sunday, every day of the week. Fox Football Daily, weeknights at 6 Eastern on America's new sports network, Fox Sports 1.
Featuring Mike Pereira on that show.
Yes, sir.
Director of officiating for the NFL. Becoming a big-time personality on the new FS1.
Hosted by the great Kurt Menefee. And through traffic, that pass is caught. Clay Fuller with the catch to the 45-yard line of Wofford. That was threading the needle. Bryce Petty got through all of those hands defensively.
I tell you, like smoke through a keyhole.
Quickly to the Wofford 45. He unleashes a pass over the middle to Levi Norwood, who is slung down to the 28 of the Terriers.
This is just lightning fast.
What was your math in the first half, Baldy?
Every 16 seconds, a play was run for Baylor, which would have led the entire country a year ago.
They were third last year. Shock Linwood on the run. Third last year, I'm speaking of, and time elapsed between plays. Third shortest amount of time. Only Arizona and Indiana got off plays more quickly.
I think the only person that could make it go faster is Art Briles' brain. Like, I think it works that speed.
Caught on the left side. There's Robbie Rhodes, the freshman from Fort Worth Southwest High School. Top 10 national wide receiver recruit. Top 10 overall recruit in the state of Texas.
And he's got the speed, the hands, and the want-to be a great one here at Baylor, making his first catch for the Baylor Bears.
First of many. To the right, Shock Linwood. Upended by Holt, Josh Holt.
Well, we know that recruiting is the lifeblood of these organizations, and so it is fierce when you get a guy like Robbie Rhodes, and the whole country wants him. And to land him here at Baylor, it was a great coup for this program.
Second down. Play is stopped.
Right to the snap, false start. Number 4, the offense. 5-yard penalty remains. Second down.
Fifth penalty tonight on Baylor. Robbie Rhodes had 43 touchdown grabs in 3 seasons at Southwest High School in Fort Worth. Over 2,500 receiving yards. He ran and played quarterback as well, so on 82 carries, he had 28 rushing touchdowns.
All right, I get the picture.
Passing it up the middle. It's Shock Linwood, his first touchdown with the Baylor Bears. From 19 yards out after the penalty.
Well, a true freshman in Robbie Rhodes and a redshirt freshman in Shock Linwood. And this Baylor program, look at Seastrom. Look at how happy he is for him. I mean, I just think, you know, the fact that you only play with one football, you would think maybe you could have a little problem. I don't think you have that problem at Baylor. I think everybody is thrilled for everybody else.
Yes. Aaron Jones, extra point. Art Briles had laid out a plan. He told us this week, wanted Seastrunk to get 14 to 18 carries. He got 11. Wanted Shock Linwood to get 8 to 10 carries in his first game. He has 3, including this touchdown run up the middle from 19 yards out. It's Baylor up 52-3. Shock Linwood, 2A high school. Linden Kildare is where he went. Now he's a redshirt freshman for Baylor and runs it in for the first time.
Well, they catch Wofford in really a stunt right here, and they're going to do a good job between the center and the right guard of picking up the stunts. And then Linwood's going to come right behind him. There's the moving him out of the way, and then good job picking off the linebacker. And really those safeties, like JC have been saying it all night, those safeties are so conscious about the outside speed. There's Stephon Huber there, one of the centers, along with Desmond Hilliard, the right guard. The job of picking up those stunts, being patient. And then those safeties are so busy trying to protect the outside speed. Once they get behind the linebackers there, it was easy for Linwood to see the goal line.
For the first time tonight, Kyle Peterson rather than Aaron Jones will kick off for Baylor. Peterson is a sophomore from Rockwall, just northeast of Dallas. We've seen the huge leg on display tonight for Aaron Jones. Now let's see what Peterson does. To the goal line, Will Gay. Out to the 22, maybe the 23. They'll spot it on the return with 4:02 left in the third. J.C. Pearson's down on the sideline. J.C.
Hey, I'll tell you what, guys, I feel for this Wofford defense right now. Those guys are gassed, especially the guys in the secondary, because Baylor, they've got so much depth, like you guys are talking about. Robbie Rhodes, Shock Linwood, they just keep coming at you, speed after speed. And with the tempo that they play with, guys, you don't have time to make adjustments defensively. You got to just get lined up again and go.
Well, what it's doing, JC, it's eliminating the defensive coordinator. I mean, he doesn't have a chance to match up personnel and schemes. He's got to line up and play and base defenses, and that's part of the reason behind adding the speed element to the offense around the country and now creeping into the NFL.
6-yard pass play on first down, and what Wofford is looking at, the thing that they have to be careful and manage for the rest of this game, is not let tonight take such a toll, because you've got the Citadel on your Southern Conference opener next week as they run on second down.
Well, they can't get discouraged. They got to keep their heads up here. They got to keep battling. The whole season is to play for. They're not going to see a team with the speed and the talent of Baylor the rest of the year. So for Mike, that's his job. Keep the heads up. You know, take that charter flight back to Spartanburg tonight. And get ready for next week. You know, this is just no time to hang your head here, and I don't think they will.
And by the way, after the Citadel next week, Georgia Southern.
Oh, it's not easy for them. It's good football at every level.
Georgia Southern is moving out of the Southern Conference and FCS and transitioning up to FBS. Inside handoff from Weimer. Donovan Johnson buried, lost a yard. Jamal Palmer, the tackle.
And here's a fourth down call where I think Mike Ayers basically has to go. Well, no. Thought he was thinking about it, maybe. And he's also thinking about what you just mentioned, the Citadel, a huge rivalry down there in South Carolina.
And on the road as well.
Yeah.
Home opener in Spartanburg against Georgia Southern in 2 weeks. He told us this week that sure, there was a build-up all through spring practice and through summer workouts and once camp started about this game against Baylor, but it's not just Baylor. It's these 2 games afterwards. They knew they needed to hit the ground running and be hot. Punt bounces and rolls. Wofford downs it inside the 30. The AP top 10. Remember, Baylor is just outside the top 25, 2 points shy in receiving votes. And Alabama won today. Ohio State beat Buffalo, who we'll see playing here against Baylor next week.
They'll be right here. And actually, they played pretty well. I mean, it was a 40-20 game. Braxton Miller, he was a guy that was struggling with cramps in that game. But Baylor had the ball. Buffalo had the ball down the 1 yard line. Didn't score. Could have made it a little tougher. Oregon with Mark Helfrich at the helm for Chip Kelly. Picked up right where they left off.
Baylor from the 29 has Seth Russell in now at quarterback. So Bryce Petty's night is done with a quarter and change remaining. 18 of 23, 290 yards will end the night for Bryce Petty. And in comes Seth Russell for Baylor. Russell is a redshirt freshman from Garland. Gain of a yard by Linwood. Russell's first collegiate pass is a catch, bouncing off a tackle. It's Corey Coleman, great speed, cutting to the middle of the field. He will fly to the end zone. Touchdown. 70 yards. What a hookup from Seth Russell to Corey Coleman. Redshirt freshman getting on the X.
Yeah, I tell you. They just keep coming out of Pierce High School in Richardson, Texas. And he wears Kendall Hunter's number in honor of him. Now with the Tennessee Titans, and they can strike from anywhere on the field. Speed it is a track team out there, and they have real world-class track speed at every one of those receiver positions. There's no such thing as a possession receiver with Baylor.
They can strike from anywhere at any time. And, of course, fitting that Baylor would have a track team given the track reputation of Baylor. Michael Johnson, Jeremy Warner.
Well, just a fake on the inside zone. First throw for Seth Russell, and there it is. I mean, you get him in space. This is the game of space. You missed the tackle, now you're in space. All right, can you tackle in space? Can you chase in space? No. I mean, that's what this whole system is predicated upon. Is speed in space. Look at Bryce Petty. I mean, everybody's happy for everybody. Big wide wingspan of the redshirt junior. A lot of smiles here at Baylor. Hey, this ain't that hard. RG3 won the Heisman. Heck, we all can.
Seth Russell, a 70-yard touchdown pass on his first pass play from scrimmage. Corey Coleman, the guy who scored 61 touchdowns in high school. Top 20 recruit in the state of Texas.
This Big 12 conference this year, the 10 teams here that does. Art Briles will see all 9 of the opponents. It's up for grabs. I think Art felt a little slighted that they got 2 first-place votes to the win. I think they use that as some motivation. I think everything is motivation for Art Briles.
And you're right about the conference being up for grabs. That's one of the big storylines is that there is no what people believe to be great team, ranked teams, but not top 10 ranked teams. You're talking about teams that are ranked around 15 and 16, and Oklahoma State and Texas and Oklahoma. So no great teams, but there is a lot of depth in this conference.
Guys, I'll tell you what I'm seeing from this Wofford defense right now, though, is too many missed tackles, and there's no excuse for that. Yeah, this Baylor team, they've got track stars all over the field, but if you keep the ball in front of you and you make the tackle, then you got to line up and play again. And too many missed tackles tonight by that Wofford secondary that allowed those track stars to turn short catches into huge gains, and you're never going to win like that. Too many missed tackles by Wofford.
JC, I wonder the heat and the speed of Baylor, though, how much that's wearing on them and not being able to make a tackle on Coleman, who they had in their grasp.
Well, I'll tell you what, though, the heat is not a factor right now, and we haven't seen anybody on either team cramp up.
No.
Yep.
So the heat hasn't been a factor in the second half. They just have to tackle. You have to be more disciplined, and there's no excuse. And I know that that's what Coach Ayers is going to talk to these guys about. No excuse for missing tackles. Well, yeah, the guy may be more talented than you, but if you got a chance to come up and wrap him up, you got to wrap him up.
There was a 4-yard running play to Cam Flowers. 2nd down and 6 for Wofford here with a minute left in the third quarter. Inside handoff to Donovan Johnson. Oh, he put it on the ground. Jamal Palmer recovered for Baylor.
Johnson trying to get extra yards on that spin, and the ball gets knocked out. And another really good hit, solid hit by Baylor, knocking that ball loose. And it seems like there's gifts for everybody on this team, offense and defense.
Palmer had a recovery earlier in the game.
Boy, that's head-on, another head-on hit collision.
And then head on the ball.
Yeah. Nice job by Palmer, getting down and scooping that ball up. Sophomore out of McKinney, Texas.
Wofford turns it over at their own 31. Russell threw a touchdown pass on his first pass attempt. Completes that one for 7 yards.
That's exactly the same play that he just threw to Coleman the play before for the touchdown. That time, much to J.C. Pearson's point, they wrapped him up, they kept him in front of him, and they got pursuit to the ball.
Jay Lee catches, tiptoes along the sideline.
They're just so far off, just trying to protect the deep ball that really, it's just an automatic for Russell. Just to turn and really turn a double play to Jay Lee on the outside.
You know, JC was talking about tackling earlier, and remember we showed the highlight. There was Corey Coleman pinballed off one tackle at the beginning of that run after the catch on the 70-yard. Russell, fake the throw, keeps the ball, runs it into the end zone. How about the impact for Seth Russell here coming into his first game? A touchdown pass, now a touchdown run.
That's just a scramble. I mean, he wanted to throw it to his left, and he didn't like what he saw, and just pulled it down and extended the play. I would say that they're in pretty good shape here after RG3 and Nick Florence at quarterback with Bryce Petty and now Seth Russell. There's a good ability, making a couple guys miss and having a nose for the goal line.
13-yard run for Russell after he threw to Coleman earlier for 70 yards. 66-3, more points than Baylor scored in any game last season. 12 seconds left in the third quarter. Seth Russell sharing stories of his first 2 collegiate touchdowns, 1 a pass, 1 a run. Here's the Coors Light game summary with Baylor leading Wofford 66-3. Bryce Petty, his first start, saw him throw for 290 and 2 touchdowns. Baylor scored on 9 of 11 possessions tonight. And through the air, Baylor has thrown for 378 to Wofford 60.
And you say, okay, well, you know, when's the time to choke it down? I mean, these guys had never played before. I mean, they're putting guys out there right now getting their first experience playing college football. Hard to tell those guys to take a knee here.
Octavius Hart running the kickback. And out of bounds with 5 seconds remaining in the third quarter.
But this is how you become an elite program, is when you put teams away and you start getting guys experience, real experience for Seth Russell. So something should happen to Bryce Petty during the game. Guy's been out there. He's seen the speed of college football. He's got some experience. He's not just big-eyed out there going out there, never played before. And this is what all the programs do. They get these young guys involved early in games like this.
Evan Jacks, a young guy for Wofford, redshirt freshman. His first collegiate action tonight. Played in the second quarter, has played here in the third quarter. Handing the ball off to Will Gay, who was drilled behind the line of scrimmage by the big defensive end, Sean Oatman.
And look, from the beginning of time when they started playing football, teams that run the ball 90% of the time, their downfall is always when they fall behind, it's not a catch-up offense.
As Rick Lumiere, the referee, just stated, it's the end of the third quarter. It has been all Baylor tonight. The quick strike offense has been on display. They're rolling. 66-3 after 3. You're watching Fox College Football. It was 101 degrees at kickoff tonight, and Baylor kept the heat on Wofford all night long. The fourth quarter starts. It's college football, 66-3, the lead for the Baylor Bears over the Wofford Terriers. Mark Followell, Brian Baldinger, J.C. Pearson. We're at Floyd Casey Stadium in Waco tonight. We will be next Saturday as well when Baylor plays the Buffalo Bulls.
Those mist machines behind that Wofford bench, they rented those today. Wofford doesn't even own those. So if there's any relief, that was money well spent.
Indeed.
Yeah.
The fourth quarter starts. Evan Jacks, a high pass for Irwin. Will Irwin, incomplete.
I think this quarterback competition is going to go on for Wofford as they get ready, for conference play next week against Furman. I mean, I think they're waiting for somebody to just distinguish themselves and kind of take the lead here.
James Lawson threw it 5 times, completed 4. Weimer went 1 for 6 passing. Jacks is 3 of 5, 30 yards. Jacks is able to elude pressure, runs up the gut, past the 20. Early on in the fourth quarter, Baylor leads Wofford 66-3 as we step aside for a Fox College Football game break. Let's check in with Aaron Hardigan.
Thanks, Mark. Let's go see how things are holding up at Memorial Stadium. Clemson was down 21-14 near the end of the second before Taj Boyd took the snap, looked around, and decided, you know what? I'm going to run it in myself. His second touchdown of the day. The game's tied up at 21. Back to you, Mark.
We showed the AP Top 10 earlier in that Georgia-Clemson game, of course, the biggest game, pitting top 10 teams against each other. Louisville, who was 9th, they will not play until tomorrow against Ohio. The Georgia and Clemson with a good one tonight.
Yeah, the 5th and 8th ranked teams in the country, both teams real familiar with one another, even from different conferences.
Punt return by Cal Spangler for Baylor. Just under 14 minutes to go with the Bears on top, 66-3. It's a 100-degree night at kickoff for the Baylor opener for the 3rd straight year. 101 tonight at kickoff. The Porta-Cool fans, the bags of ice, among many things being used to try to cool things down on the Baylor side.
Well, you can tell Baylor's winning. I mean, they don't even have anybody sit in front of the fans. They don't feel hot. They're enjoying it.
Big hole for Shock Linwood, who has a touchdown run in the second half. They start the drive on their own 29, and Baylor on the first play moves it out to the 44, a 15-yard run. I want to ask you guys this, Baldy and JC both, after this first down play for Baylor at their own 44.
I think Baylor trying to actually slow it down here.
Do they know how to do that?
I don't know.
Can they do that?
I mean, they didn't huddle. They don't know how to do that, but they did actually take a few more seconds to run that play.
And it's a run for Linwood for -2. Last night, North Dakota State beats Kansas State. FCS over a Big 12 team. Today, William and Mary, FCS squad against Big 12 West Virginia. Up by 10, William and Mary to start the second half. West Virginia has to rally, gets a late touchdown. 3 minutes to go to win 24-17. As Russell play fakes. Time, forced out, rolling. Chased by Thomas, Kevin Thomas, and brought down. So, don't know how much that might have impacted this game, but you've got to think, I ask you guys, if that was any sort of pregame locker room talk, look what's happened with some of our conference mates against FCS schools.
I think that speech absolutely was given by Phil Bennett and Art Briles at Baylor here when they saw the results of that game in Manhattan, Kansas.
Robbie Rhodes darting at the sideline.
And I think I agree with Baldy. Absolutely. All these players, they watch ESPN, they watch Fox Sports 1, they read the papers, they know all the scores around the country, and they don't want, you never want to be that next big upset. They've got a lot of goals here at Baylor for this year. And really, guys, everybody talks about their offense, but I think their defense is what's going to propel this team to great things this year. 8 returning starters. Phil Bennett told us that they've got more depth than they've ever had. I think this team is going to be a team that a lot of teams are not going to want to play as this year goes on.
I just don't think this team is going to take anybody lightly, JC. I think they know how dangerous everybody is, and I think it's a testament to just how well coached they are by Art Briles.
That's the first time tonight that Spencer Roth has punted. It was down just outside the 7-yard line. Baylor up big. 66-3, Baylor leads Wofford in the 4th quarter. It's time for tonight's TXU high-energy play of the game. It comes from the Baylor defense.
Well, it was Chris McAllister here. Plays off the offensive tackle, gets to the passing lane, and then bats the ball to himself and finishes the play. That kind of really opened the game up in the 1st quarter from 21-0 to 28-0. And as JC has been saying all night, the defense has been just as impressive as the offense with the athletes, the experience, and the speed that they have on that side of the football.
The first punt tonight for Spencer Roth was killed just inside the 8. And an inside handoff outside the 10 for Lorenzo Long.
Yeah, here's a freshman, true freshman, who they're really excited about out of Pensacola, Florida. They felt really lucky to get him in the recruiting catch this year.
Runs for 3 yards. Wofford from their own 11. And again to Long inside. We just showed the TXU high-energy play of the game, and Baldy, JC, look, Baylor's offense is going to score a lot of points. They're going to have their moment in the sun a lot of times this year, but even on a night when the offense has provided 59 points, some love for the Baylor defense. Eddie Lackey had a couple of pick sixes last year, but giving some love to Chris McAllister with the high-energy play of the game.
Yeah, I mean, but these guys were here when they weren't any good. McAllister was starting on this defense and playing a lot. Terrence Lloyd, when they weren't very good and they were getting picked on, and teams were putting up 50 and 60 points on them.
Low pass by Evan Jacks on 3rd down.
Yeah, so, I mean, like, they were those guys that were mentioning, McAllister, Lloyd, they were playing before they were ready to play, but they had to. They didn't have any other bodies. Now they've got depth, they've got experience. They've played through some of those bad times. Offense carried them, but I don't think I think this defense is going to go a long ways to deciding if Baylor's going to be a player for the Big 12 championship this year.
Yeah,
and it's a real boost, JC, when they're providing points too, isn't it?
Absolutely, and you're right, Baldy. They got healthy. They had some injuries last year and really got shellacked in a couple of games, but once they got all their guys back at second half of the season, they played pretty good, and it's carried over to this first game this year.
Nice punt by Redfern. That drives Cal Spangler way back. The 8th punt of the night tonight for Wofford. Short return. And there is a marker down on the field.
Yeah, I'll talk to Coach.
Well, earlier, as we noted, Lake Seastrunk was great in the last 4 years.
Holding number 23 of the receiving team. The penalty will be 10 yards from where the play ended. First down. There's timeout on the field.
10:34 remaining. It's Baylor over Wofford, 66-3. This is Fox College Football. Fox College Football is brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Right stuff, low price, every day. And by Ford F-Series, America's best-selling truck for 36 straight years. With 10:34 remaining, Baylor will take over. At their own 17, there's Lake Seastrunk. The only thing he hasn't done tonight is try to go over and fix that porticool.
Yeah. He might be able to do it, too.
And here's a run off the left side to the 30, 35. Stood up, driving forward. The helmet comes off. A flag is down.
Seastrunk was standing up on the bench watching that. Got so excited he jumped off the bench and joined his team in celebration of that run. And we've got really our first Wofford player that we've seen down all night, Darius Burton, the senior defensive end out of Durham.
Personal foul, number 69 of the offense. The penalty will be 15 yards from the end of the run.
Just a little too aggressive.
First down.
This is Anthony Webb on the run, listed as a backup defensive back.
Yeah. Maybe that's what got him all excited. So that all looks good there. Oh, yeah. I see Colbert came in 69 at the very end. Seastrunk's reaction, animated as he is all the time, high energy. Got the Baylor braids going right now. That might be a popular look.
Indeed.
Yeah, I don't think one for you, Mark, but maybe a popular look down here in Waco.
Got a long way to go on getting the hair that length.
It's all good when you're winning.
And Baylor is winning big tonight with 10:20 remaining. Lake Seastrunk, 111 yards, 11 carries tonight, 2 touchdowns.
But you think about the Heisman, right? And he put it out there. I want to win the Heisman. RG3, when he started his final year here at Baylor, nobody had him on the radar for a Heisman.
Right.
Halfway through the season, people didn't have him on the radar. And then it became, it was Andrew Luck. It was a lot of other guys being mentioned 2 years ago. But he finished so strong, was just so consistent.
He finished strong. Baylor's team finished strong. A great winning streak to end the season.
Well, that's what you have to think about when you're talking about the Heisman. Generally, your team has to be successful with it. And the idea is you help your team become successful.
Webb, again, who had a 37-yard run, although some of the yardage was given back on the penalty. Lake Seastrunk announcing his presence with authority tonight in the Heisman race. Braxton Miller at Ohio State. You saw A.J. McCarron at Alabama. Teddy Bridgewater from Louisville. Of course, Johnny Football, who won it last year. And one defensive player, Jadeveon Clowney from South Carolina. Yeah,
you got to put a defensive guy on there. South Carolina with an impressive win yesterday.
Beat North Carolina in a game that had a lengthy thunderstorm, lightning delay.
Delay. Battle of the Carolinas.
Anthony Webb on second down. All right, let's look at these Heisman candidates again. JC, you've got 4 quarterbacks. Seastrunk, the running back. Jadeveon Clowney that we mentioned a moment ago.
Yeah, I mean, a great group. But in regards to Lake Seastrunk, I mean, the confidence and the swagger that he has, I mean, this whole team has it. Just like he was talking about with Bryce Petty breaking all of RG3 and Nick Florence's record. I think it stems from Art Briles, and he allows these guys. I mean, most coaches wouldn't allow Seastrunk to say that.
Big run here for Anthony Webb to the 40-yard line of Wofford with 8:51 left in the 4th quarter.
But that he embraces that, and I think that swagger rubs off on the rest of this team. And you see how these guys are playing out here tonight. Even the second-string guys, the third-string guys, they all come in and they're expecting to make plays.
And it's great that confidence comes from Art Briles, but one thing that has helped the swagger is success. Most wins in any 3-year run in Baylor program history these last 3 years with 25 victories.
And 3 straight trips to a bowl game.
Never happened before in school history. Lost to Illinois in the Texas Bowl, but then as Linwood drops the pass and there's a flag down, they also beat Washington in the Alamo Bowl, beat UCLA last year in the Holiday Bowl.
Illegal motion against the offense, number 3. 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. Still first down.
And part of, the draw of Art Briles is just his enthusiasm and the way he kind of spin a yarn. I mean, he said that his offense is, and this year's offense is a little bit like a songwriter. You got to create something that wasn't there before.
That's right.
And that's what he's trying to do right now with a lot of the names, whether it's Seastrunk or a freshman like Robbie Rhodes. Let's create our own new song this year.
Art Briles, 57 years old, from rural Texas, just outside of Abilene. Showing off his artistic side with that comment about songwriting, as Shock Linwood is taken down. There was a penalty that moved them back, and Kevin Thomas tackles Linwood for a 1-yard loss.
So they got a backup left guard in there right now, Laquan McGowan. You can't miss. Here he comes off the field right now. just a massive man, but powerful. And they just keep developing these guys. He's out of Amarillo. I don't know quite how they get a uniform. I don't know what Art gets that one. They've got 60 different combinations of uniforms here. Somehow they found one to stretch to fit Laquan McGowan.
Linwood with another inside handoff. Linwood inside the Wofford 40.
You know, that's just another example, guys, like I was saying earlier. You know, that swagger that starts with Bryles, like you guys were talking about, but the second string guys come in, the third string guys, even some fourth string guys in here right now, and they come in and they expect to play well. I mean, that's confidence. You may think that some guys come in and they're nervous and, you know, a little apprehensive. Not here. I mean, they breed that swagger and they expect success and confidence, and that shows you how far this Baylor program has come.
Well, part of it, JC, is the way they practice, and they practice at this speed, so that everybody gets repetitions out there, not just the first team.
Anthony Webb, JC mentioned fourth string guys in, and Webb is the fourth running back that has been on the field for Baylor tonight. Quay Bell with the tackle for Wofford. The previous best three-season win total was 24. Grant Taft, 1985, 86, and 87. And that included a couple of bowl game victories in the old Bluebonnet Bowl in Houston and the Liberty Bowl.
Grant Taft had 25 years here in Waco.
This is the 6th year for Art Bryles, 33 and 30. And about to be 34 and 30 once another 6 minutes and change run off the clock. Workman-like drive. It's Webb and Linwood sharing the duties at running back. Mike McCrimmon throws Webb to the turf.
I give McCrimmon a lot of credit out there. I mean, he's played every defensive snap that I've seen tonight. And co-MVP of a year ago. I mean, out there in this kind of a game, not looking at the clock. Got a little shoulder that's bothering him, trying to keep it loose to finish this game.
Clock runs with 5:35. Baylor has 2nd and 5 at the Wofford 24. It started quickly tonight for Baylor. 28 points in the first quarter. A right tackle for 3.
And you know right now, Mark, this is hard for Baylor to go at this pace. They just don't know how to really do it. You got to like lose a shoe.
It's not in their
slow them down.
It's not in their new DNA.
No, you got to like step out of a shoe and tie it and double tie a knot on the, try and eat up a little clock. Stand around. They don't know what they're standing around looking at. I don't know. What are you doing? I don't know. What are you doing?
I saw that. I saw the Fox Sports 1 game on Thursday night. The Utah State quarterback Keegan ran out of his shoe. Had a great scramble against Utah. The Battle of the Brothers on Thursday. And a missed exchange on the handoff for Linwood. Seth Russell, the redshirt freshman, seeing his first action tonight, falls back on top of it. Russell has thrown a long touchdown of 70 yards to Corey Coleman and also ran for 13 yards on a scramble for a score.
I mean, they're just playing anybody that's in a uniform right now for Baylor.
You could run down there real quick, Baldy, you and JC.
And go out and finish? No. I lost my eligibility.
Yeah, and that tempo was way too fast for us these days.
I'm getting enough sweat up here in the booth, JC.
This is not Aaron Jones, but Kyle Peterson, the sophomore from Rockwall, with a 43-yard field goal try.
There's a hook.
Has the leg, but sneaks inside the upright. With 4 minutes remaining. Baylor 69, Wofford 3. A lot of players have been in on the act, including Lake Seastrom, 2 touchdown runs and a big grin on the sideline.
With TX, you're propelled.
Well, I mean, Bryce
Peterson
goes when you're on a mission.
4 minutes remaining. Kyle Peterson just kicked the field goal to put Baylor up 69-3. Here's tonight's Whataburger What a player of the game.
Well, I mean, Bryce Petty showed off his arm on this one to the deep corner of the end zone. Antoine Goodley, right on the money. He executed, he engineered, and I think this is the system. He's been waiting 4 years to do this. Tevin Reese in stride. And if you want to know how he compared tonight. I mean, missed all of 5 passes tonight. 2 touchdowns. Really took care of the football very well. I thought it was an excellent debut for Bryce Petty here. Just knowing how long he's waited for this moment. I thought he played with composure and poise, and I think he's off to a good start with an offense that could be as good as any in the country right now.
18 of 23, 290 yards. Kyle Peterson kicking off after he hit the 43-yard field goal. Cam Flowers running up the field.
Wow, there we go.
Big hole for Flowers. Got a block. Sprinting off to the sideline. He stepped out. He stepped out at the Baylor 46.
Like to see that. Like to see that fight and competitiveness at a guy like Cam Flowers at this part of the game. They did a good job of getting everybody bunched up. Broke a couple tackles and busted outside. You see the speed of Cam Flowers, one of their halfbacks in this offense.
And you'll see him step out there.
Good call. Official was in the right spot.
Evan Jacks turns the corner on the keeper. Cuts out. First down run to the 34 of Baylor.
I think Evan Jacks would love nothing else but to take this offense into the end zone and get out of Waco on a good note.
And then prepare for conference play, Southern Conference play next week against the Citadel. They went 6-2 in the conference last season. Overall, 9-4. The Wofford Terriers in the preseason poll in FCS ranked 5th by the coaches, ranked 8th by the media. The Sports Network releases the FCS media poll. First down handoff of the Baylor 35.
Yeah,
Avion Edwards with the tackle.
I talked to a couple of the coaches about that 5th place ranking right now before the season. They thought it was a little high because they did have to replace a lot of starters, including the MVP of this team. And so, you know, they're playing a lot of young guys, trying to get them experience as quickly as they can. And even though this is, you know, a brutal loss for them tonight, the experience of playing a real game is going to be valuable for conference play starting next week.
And remember that the 2-time defending champs at FCS are ranked number 1. That's North Dakota State, who had the big upset last night at Kansas State. Evan Jacks taken down on the keeper with 2.5 minutes remaining.
I just have to mention this, Mark. I know it has nothing to do with the game, but Tim Tebow was released by the New England Patriots today.
Whoa,
a lot of people don't think that
a
lot of people don't think you can talk about football without mentioning Tim Tebow's name. Just wanted to fit it in there before the snap.
You can talk about football apparently for almost 58 minutes. Evan Jacks running away from pressure, stays on his feet. Finally, Avion Edwards. Edwards brought him down. It's 4th and 16 at the Baylor 41. This drive started after the long kick return by Cam Flowers down to the 46. They've got a 4th down play coming up. And as we've made note of on numerous occasions, they start conference play next week. What's going through? We see Mike Ayers on the sideline. What's going through his head right now, Baldy?
He said that if a Wofford player put a uniform on today, they're going to get their box of chicken on the way home. They're going to play in the game. So I think they exhausted the roster tonight. A lot of guys got some experience against a really good team.
As Avion Edwards, a backup linebacker, in again, and Jamal Palmer, who's had a nice night defensively with a couple of fumble recoveries. They sack him on 4th down. Baylor will take over on downs, and we'll send it to Aaron Hardigan with a Fox College football game break.
Hey, Mark, we have a boxing match in Clemson right now. Taj Wood gave Clemson the lead earlier this quarter, but Georgia's Todd Gurley tied things up at 28 with his 12-yard touchdown. He's having a night as well. Back to you, Mark.
Thanks, Aaron. We were making a reference a moment ago to Mike Ayers, the Wofford head coach. He is a quote machine, talking about getting guys getting the box of chicken on the plane, sending the freshmen that have to be redshirted, sending them to the smokehouse, having a fullback who could run up inside and get you tough yardage at grits and grocery time.
Grits and grocery time. Now you were so fond of that saying. You went and Googled it.
Yeah, and all I could find was that there's a restaurant in Belton, South Carolina named Grits and Groceries, and they claim it's from an old blues song.
You know what? I would make a special stop in Belton to go find that place. Grits and Groceries sound good to me.
It's delicious.
Well, in the South, you got to have your grits, period.
Classically trained chefs at that restaurant, I understand from my Google search.
I want to go in there and have them say, kiss my grits. I just want to hear that.
No, not going to go back to Flo on Alice.
Yeah, remember that, huh? Kiss my grits.
Baylor taking the play clock down inside of 5 seconds on what will be the last snap of the game here. Baylor starts 2013, the 64th and final season of Floyd Casey Stadium, off with a big win over FCS opponent Wofford. They'll enjoy it tonight, and then attention will turn to the Buffalo Bulls from the MAC next week. Buffalo played in Columbus today at Ohio State and lost 40-20.
Pretty represented themselves pretty well, I thought. Got a big receiver, running back, got some experience there, good coach. Art Briles will have the, they'll allow this 24-hour period to enjoy it. And McAllister had a big night, and Bryce Petty, his first start.
Seastrunk was great. Tevin Reese, Corey Coleman, Robbie Rhodes got a little game experience.
Tell you what, good luck trying to game plan Baylor and trying to take somebody away. And really, we didn't give a whole lot of love to the offensive line up front tonight, but it's an experienced group with a lot of talent there as well.
They got Glasgow Martin onto the field tonight. Remember that he had been hampered by a broken foot that he suffered in May in a pickup basketball game. They wanted to get him around 8 carries, and he did. But when you talk the running game tonight, this is the guy who did the most damage. All the players from Wofford talking to Lake Seastrunk after a 111-yard rushing performance on only 11 carries.
Well, he feels good about it because he really showed you everything. He showed you vision and then speed to bounce things to the outside. He showed you the inside run game and how he explodes into the secondary. He finished a couple of runs, breaking tackles, and then, this one right here where he just carries players, and then, of course, the second touchdown run of the night. Classic Lake Seastrunk, where he just has such great balance. And, look, I think this is good sportsmanship right here. I mean, both sides taking a knee here.
69-3, the final score tonight. Baylor defeats Wofford. J.C. Pearson is on the field with Art Briles.
Coach Briles, great performance by your team. You got to be happy.
It's how we needed to start. We wanted to start fast. These games are always a worry, going in because you're not really sure what you're going to get. They're from another part of the nation. We really didn't know anything about them. They've done a great job through the years. So we had a lot of respect for them, but our guys played well. We came out and did what we need to do early, and that's, jump on them.
Bryce Petty got his first start. The Bryce Petty era begins. Talk a little bit about him.
He was good tonight, and what we got to do is just look at some things he can do better at. But, he's a guy that's worked extremely hard to get to this point, and a lot of our guys have. We had a lot of guys that really need to get their feet wet tonight, and they did. Defensively, we played great. Special teams were good, and, we did our thing on offense, so we just got to keep going.
You mentioned your defense, and gave them a lot of love during the broadcast. Good. To come out and hold this Wofford offense to 3 points. Yeah. Fantastic job.
Great job. And that's, we got 8 of those guys back that finished really strong, so we feel good about ourselves, but we understand we got a long season ahead, and we got a big game next week against Buffalo.
Well, good luck to you, Coach. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, appreciate it.
All right. Mark Baldy, there you have it. I mean, not a lot that you can be too critical about tonight on the way Baylor played.
No, and we were talking up here about some big picture thoughts about Baylor's performance tonight. Now that you've had some time to digest it, what did you think seeing Baylor in the opener tonight, JC?
Well, I'll tell you, they are super impressive down on this field with their tempo and the overall team speed, and not just on offense, but on defense, too. I mean, the defense was humming like we talked about during the broadcast. Got 8 starters back on that defense, so now there's a lot of confidence there. But offensively, they just keep coming at you and coming at you, not only throwing the ball, but now you got Lake Seastrunk, Glasgow Martin. I'll tell you, this team is going to make a lot of noise nationally this year.
And guys, they gained 692 yards of offense tonight.
Well, I mean, the offense has been what Art Briles brought here, but this is a team now. This isn't the offense carrying it. This isn't a Heisman Trophy winner that straps the team to his back and carries them. I mean, this team has experience, they have talent, and they're well coached. Both sides of the ball. Phil Bennett's done a great job here, and it was on display tonight. I mean, they dismantled Wofford. They never let them in the game, and really the thing that just jumps out at you is their speed, period, at every position. I mean, they just dominate you with that.
Baylor 1-0, and they have made it 10 straight non-conference home wins with tonight's victory. The final score, Baylor 69, Wofford 3, as we wind it down tonight from Floyd Casey Stadium in Waco. Make sure to join us next Saturday for a triple header on Fox Sports Networks. Southeastern Louisiana versus TCU. Buffalo here at Baylor, followed by Stephen F. Austin at Texas Tech. The action starts at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. For Brian Baldinger and J.C. Pearson and our great crew here in Waco, I'm Mark Followell. You've been watching Fox College Football on Fox Sports Networks.
College football on MSG Plus has